everyone who got here early got a peek at the hair. I'm not bald. Oh, man. Welcome back to another live stream. I'm going to wait for some people to get in here because I wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to all of you. But everyone early, we got Drew Teeny, Risen Sparrow, Pika Pika, Taylor, Fernando, and PokeSun's in here. PokeSun, what is going on? But no, guys, today I just wanted to do more of like a relaxed live. We'll talk a little bit and more of a Q&A for everyone that's always got questions and wants things discussed and all that good stuff. And so it's going to be really more based around that today. What did I want to say? Okay, yeah. So one of the things I discussed in my video that everyone saw, right, on the reprint thing, I wanted to kind of expand on at the beginning of this video while people kind of trail in, and then we can kind of get to more of the Q&A portion. But one of the big things I talked about, like near the end, is not getting too sensitive or emotional about each individual investment you make. Now, this is hard when you're new. I get it. Like, if you only have a few hundred, dollars or a few $1,000s invested, whatever it may be, and you take a hit on one of those items, it can hurt. And I get that, and I'm trying to be sensitive to that matter. But as you start to expand your positions and you start to diversify into multiple items or cards or products or, whatever it may be, it's less and less likely that any type of market fluctuation, reprints, up or down in the market's going to change your overall investment that much, right? It's kind of the whole reason mutual funds exist, right? Or, ETFs exist is, they basket all kind of companies together. And, if some are down and some are up, some are flat, you're not really losing too much on the bad days. You're not gaining as much on the good days, but it kind of keeps you, in that nice, zone of where, over time, as long as the majority of things do well, you're going to make constant gains. And, on the really bad days or really bad years or whatever it may be, you're going to lose, but you're not going to lose as bad as if you were had all your eggs in one basket. And so the one thing I want everyone to do, after this video, during this video, whatever you want to do, this is truly going to help you with this whole investing thing, is go look around at your investment, what you have, right? And even go to your biggest positions, right? And I said it in the video, but I think you really need to do this. It'll really help. Is think about your nightmare scenario of what you worry about, what keeps you up at night. You're worried about a reprint or this a price drop or the economy goes down, and come up in your mind. And now some people will say it could go to zero. Okay, sure, it can go to zero. But a realistic nightmare scenario, Alex, Paldea gets the most massive reprint we've ever seen. It's Roaring Skies Primal Clash 2.0. It's worse than Chilling Reign Fusion Strike. It's $70-$75 a box. All right. So then you want to, add up how much money you have invested. Well, I have a case. Okay. So you have, roughly, let's say you bought the case at $600. Now it's worth $900. It drops in half to $75. And now it's worth, $450. And it's so think about that. Your nightmare scenario, you lost $450, but you're only actually down $150 on that case. And now I want you to think about all of the things you've done with money in the past month or year that you've literally blown or wasted $150, even $450, right? Maybe you had something done around the house and you didn't shop around, enough, and you overpaid your plumber $450, right? Or, you bought materials for something and you realized, I could have gotten cheaper here, and there was $150 there. Or you went out to a nice dinner, or you went out to a concert, and you start thinking about all these things that you don't even think about, and you drop $100, $200, $300 like it's nothing. But then when an investment gets absolutely demolished and you're down $150, $200, $300, $400, you pretend it's the end of the world online, and it makes every news article all over the internet, and it's just did this really even affect you or affect your life or anything? And I think that is the biggest thing when you get deeper in the hobby and you have more and more positions, that really brings more comfort, I would say, because it's very rare that the entire market all, goes up as a whole, like in COVID, and then all drops as a whole, like in COVID. it's more realistic that there's some things that are up on certain days, months, years. Some things are down. Some things stay stagnant. And the wider your positions get, it's why it doesn't affect you. And so when people say, Alex, aren't you afraid of a reprint? Like, why? I mean, what am I afraid of? Realistically, let's say Paldea Evolve gets a reprint and my cases go from $900 down to, realistically, I don't think they're going to drop below $600, probably $600 to $700 a case, you know, 110, 115 a box, something like that. And it's like, no, it doesn't bother me, you know, we're like, aren't you afraid holding Evolving Skies? What if it does this? And I think that's really what it comes down to, is taking the percentage of your overall investment and kind of applying it to the little things you're worried about, like this thing goes down, this thing goes up. And even on the upside, it doesn't make that so much difference. So people are like, you know, Evolving Skies, if it goes to $1,000 a box, we're going to be rich. And I'm just like, I mean, I only got 15 Evolving Skies boxes. So if it goes up another $300 times 15, $4,500. Don't get me wrong. I'm not too like high and mighty. I'm not rich. Like that's good money to me. That's a lot of money. But at the same time, it's like, it's not life changing. It's not going to like change the way I do things or like make me go out and, you know, buy a new car or, you know, sell my house and buy a bigger one, go on a freaking beach vacation. It's just like, okay, it's normal. It's a good gain. And same thing if it goes down. Evolving Skies house, what if it crashes down to 500? Then what? Well, then I lose $200 a box, you know, maybe like $3,000, and you know, I lick my wounds and hopefully some other things are doing good and I move on, or maybe I dollar cost average in. And so keeping that like this more center or like a down to earth mindset and not getting so wrapped up in all these little moves in the markets and all the charts and the price swings and the prices, it'll allow you to make a lot better decisions because you're not making them based on emotions and you're not fearful of these Armageddon scenarios that everyone out there like perpetrates as like, you know, it's always coming tomorrow, right? Like the Robert Kiyosaki's, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. Everything's going to zero. You better get houses. You better get gold. That's the only thing that's ever going to be worth money. All your fiat currency's going to zero. Your collectibles are going to zero. It's like, okay, well, maybe, you know, and if that happens, then I'll come out and say how wrong I was. But, you know, reality is most likely it's never going to happen. And the more likely scenario is, yeah, maybe we go in a bear market and economy's bad and, you know, everything's bad and things drop. But, you know, look at the worst drops we've had in this hobby. Like, they haven't been, you know, to a point where it's like, oh, man, we're selling everything. We're freaking taking heavy losses, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, yeah, if you bought at the absolute tip-top highs of the pandemic and then sold at the absolute lows after it crashed, you could have done very bad. But buying in to modern booster boxes in the 80s, 90s, and 100s, nobody has ever lost their ass doing that. The worst case scenarios in the past 10 years, well, maybe Roaring Skies, Primal Clash, you've been down like 10, 20, 30 bucks a box. Or, you know, Battle Styles, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, you're down $10, $20 a box. Like, it's just not that prevalent of a reason to freak out. But, you know, and a lot of it's just content creation. People just need to make content, and people like to tune in to the bearish content, the market drops, and you know, people like to get, you know, anyone, the have-nots always like to get on there and like, I told you guys are losing so much money, all you idiots investing in cardboard. And it's like, you know, it's cool. Like, once you understand that stuff, you kind of like almost like root for those people too. Like, hey, you know what? At least you gave all the bears a chance to get together and talk shit, and you know, they get to all laugh at all the people who invested for a minute, and that's cool too. And you know, then when things go up, you can kind of, you know, sit there and say, I told you so. And, you know, then they get all mad. And it's like, it's this fun little back and forth we all have in this hobby. But it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't change any of your ideas for long-term investing in this hobby, because truly it doesn't matter, right? Like, every box, you know, like going back to that reprint conversation, guys, 95% of every box has had a reprint. They all have, right? Cosmic Eclipse, it's almost $1,000 a box, had a reprint. Evolving Skies, $700 a box, had reprints, right? I mean, even go back to the bad sets, right? Guardians Rising had a massive reprint. What, $300-$400 a box still, right? Burning Shadows had reprints, and Unified Minds had reprints, and I go back to XY, Evolutions had umpteenth reprints, $800 a box still, right? And you can go on and on and on. Everything's had reprints. Everything's, at one point or another, people have not liked the set. People have said it's overprinted. People have said, no, I don't want that set. It's too cheap. No one likes it. All the cards are inexpensive. Give me this one instead. Every set's been through this every year in the whole freaking hobby. And over time, you know, those things heal and people forget about the negativity and they get more scarce and prices start to rise and people start to buy them when the prices rise because they feel they got fear of missing out. And then they become expensive and some of the cards in the set are now expensive. And And now everyone, they're like, oh, now we like the set. Let's open it, right? And it's just this funny back and forth we all have in this hobby. So that's the one thing I want you to like. I really just had this live today. I just wanted to kind of get on and answer some questions. People are always, messaging me questions. And a lot of times I'll just tell them, hey, come to the live on, next week and ask the questions. So anyone that's got questions, leave them in the chat right now. I really wanted this kind of be more directed at like Q&A, more of like a discussion on topics people wanted to discuss. So go ahead and leave your questions. I will take those in a second. But yeah, I mean, do that for yourself. Just go through some of your large positions, right? And break it down of like your nightmare scenarios and even your like best case scenarios, and really see if it really makes that much of a difference. Because guys, and this is it sounds bad when you say it like this, 'cause I'm not trying to put anyone down, but a lot of the people who are the most worried are the people with the lowest positions. And you'll have like 2 or 3 booster boxes and you're worried about this massive downturn. And guys, massive downturns are like 20, 30, 40% would be like a crash, right? And you start thinking about it, well, $150 box, 40% would be what, $60? So it'd go to $90. You'd lose $60. $60. That's it. $60. Your Evolving Skies goes down 20%. That's $140. Tell me you have never went out and bought yourself a $140 pair of shoes you didn't need, or $140 in clothes, or went to a baseball game, spent $140 on the tickets and the seats and the parking and the food. Like, it'll really put things in perspective for you and stop thinking it's the end of the world when things go up or down. Same thing when things go up, right? It's like most people have gotten like bonuses at work, and what happens to that bonus? Well, maybe you save some, invest some, maybe some you blow some, and it's like, it's not a big deal. Like, oh, you got a bonus, it was great, but it didn't life change you. Same thing if things go to the moon. It's like, oh, Alex, what if Paldea or what if Surging Spark goes from 100 to 300? It's like, how many do you have? I'm gonna buy 3 boxes, and then you make $600. Like, it's good, $600. Like, it's good money. I mean, it's a lot for some people, right? Like, but it's not going to change most people's lives, right? Even if you're a heavy investor and you buy 10 cases and you make what, $200 times 6 boxes, what is that, like $1,200? You make 12 grand, but then you got to sell it and pay fees and go through all that, but you make 12 grand. I mean, that's a good amount of money. I'd be extremely happy with that. But at the same time though, like I said before, I'm still going to get up tomorrow. I'm going to make videos. I'm going to, buy and sell cards. I'm going to work. Like, it's not changing my life. And I think whatever level you're at, if you're at like a level of only investing, like maybe you only have like a couple hundred, $1,000 invested and you lose 40%, you lost 20, 30, 40, 50, $60. Big deal. If you're at a level where you're investing $1,000, $2,000, you lose 20, 30%. Well, you're losing $200, $300, $400. Big deal, right? If you're at a spot where you're investing tens of thousands, you got 10, 20 grand, you lose a few $1,000s. Move on. Like, and so it's always more pronounced in the dollar amount when things get like in higher dollar amounts. So then people like, who have a $100,000 position, if they lose 20%, it's 20 grand. So then it starts to become more of an issue, but you have to think, well, if that person had 100 grand in that, maybe 20 grand isn't as big of an issue for him as it would be for me, type thing. And so just remember that everything's relative, and, hobby moves in patterns, and, when you think it can get as bad as it can possibly be, it's not that bad. When it's the absolute best of times, it's not ever as good as you thought it was going to be. And that's all I really wanted to get out today. And then the last thing is I wanted to address, guys, don't take everything online so serious. Like, I made the 151 video I just wanted to make a video about 151 because it was doing really well, but it was more of just like a troll. And I got the comments exactly what I was wanting in that video. But anyone who saw that, like, don't freak out too much. Like, I know Japanese 151 is doing very well. There's a very good chance it's going to outperform English long term. I know the PC ETBs are technically outperforming it, but in reality, it's much harder to get a large amount of PC ETBs. It's much easier to get large amounts of, Japanese 151 cases. So it's still, in my opinion, a better investment because it's easier to kind of multiply your position than it is because it was really hard to get PC ETBs. And yeah, I think the boxes are going to beat regular ETBs, bundles. Maybe the UPCs catch fire and those promos become a thing and those keep up with the 151 Japanese or booster boxes. But no, I mean, you're going to do well on either way. You guys know me. I've tried multiple times. I've had friends at Collecticons have me open 151 box. I opened a Pokemon Go box. I opened tons of Japanese boxes, and I just don't like them. Like I just don't like the cards. I get it's better quality. I think a lot of people like the artworks more. I don't. Like I like the English. It's my thing. And you know, people always ask me, "Well, Alex, why not invest in it if you still think it's good?" That's like asking me, "Well, Alex, why don't you invest in a cigarette company? Why don't you go invest in Philip Morris?" Well, I don't like, you know, cigarettes. I don't think they're good. I'm not going to invest in something just because there's money to be made. If I don't like the thing, I don't just invest in it all the time, right? And the other thing is, I don't like the one thing I don't like about the Japanese market, and this is one of the reasons I don't play in it. I don't like the lack of transparency. Everyone's got a story, right? And I'm not calling anyone a liar, but there are a lot of liars out there. Everyone's got a story in Japanese, right? It's, oh, I got it from this supplier in Japan for $40. Well, I found it from this guy on Facebook for 50. This guy on Instagram got it for 45. I found this TikTok coupon and I used infinite of them. I got them all for $30. And then I got cases for this. And like, there's no like market price. And so whenever you share like an eBay listing, people are like, oh no, I got it for this, and that, this. And it's just like, dude, why do I want to be in a market where everyone's got different prices? There's no, you know, stable market price. No one has any idea what they should be paying. Everyone's freaking out. You're having to buy from all these like back alley places like Buy-E or doing these, you know, transactions on Facebook, wiring people money in Japan. Why would I want to, you know, transact in a market like that? The reason the stock market is so effective in other country stock markets, it's easy to transact, right? It's universal, right? It's liquid. And I don't like the fact that the pricing is not universal. Everything has to be, you know, for one, it has to be all translated into US dollars or wherever you're at in the world. And then everyone's got different deals, different prices. You know, everyone's telling you have different deals and prices. You don't know what to believe, if this is true or that's true. So you don't even know if you're getting in at the bottom dollar. I mean, what if, you know, in English, you had everyone saying, oh no, I got it for 75. I got it for 80. I got it for 60. I got it for 90. And you're just like, wait, am I overpaying at 95 a box? Right? You're like, well, what's going on? Someone's buying them for 65? What the heck? I'm in Eli's program. I only get it for 88. And it's like, that's how it feels with Japanese for me. It's too unregulated. It's too unoptimized. I mean, I know that collectibles are unoptimized. It's too unoptimized. And I think for people wanting to make a living like in that market, like Pokey Brian does, you can do very well, right? For anyone that's like more of a casual or just wanting to like invest long term and doesn't want to like make all these crazy like deals everywhere and worried about getting fake product, which is a huge issue in Japan with, you know, the clear plastic, but worrying about getting like, you know, fake product, resealed product, getting a, you know, worrying about where to buy it from, who to buy it, how I got to pay, where's it coming from, like what price point everyone got. It's just not for me, right? And English is so much easier. I know what distributors pay. I know what stores pay. I know what all the online, you know, major online sites sell for. Everyone's got pretty much bottom dollar, like anywhere between, I would say like mid 80s up to like $100 is where it's always sold. That's where all English boxes are always sold. You know, if you're getting in at the lower end of that range, you're doing very well. No one else has sweetheart deals. And it's just a lot easier and a more comfortable market to transact in. And it's like, if I've been successful doing that for 9 years, why change that up? Like, why try to play in all these, you know, back alley games? It's like, it's just not for me. But for everyone it is, I'm very happy for you. I hope you continue to do well. I do think Japanese 151 will do very well. Again, the video is more of a troll. I woke up that morning, I'm like, how can I get everyone's panties in a bunch and get everyone all riled up this morning? That's truly what it was. But no, I think you'll be just fine in 151 Japanese. I think it's easier to get bigger positions, and I do think I mean, 151 is just a no-brainer play all around, English or Japanese. It always has been. I mean, at the right price point. I didn't think 160, 180, 200 a box for Japanese 151 was a no-brainer. But yeah, $50, $60 English when you can get ETBs, 40s, when you can get bundles in the 20s, when you can get PC ETBs at retail, UPCs in the 80s and 90s. I mean, those were all no-brainer plays to me. Like, those were all just no-brainer plays. Buy it, wait a certain amount of time. You're basically the closest thing to guarantee to make money in this entire hobby. And so I just wanted to I wanted to address that because I did it on purpose, and I purposely knew the comments were going to get there. But you know me. Sometimes I gotta stir the pot a little bit in this hobby. But in no way, shape, or form am I against anyone investing in Japanese. But that's why I don't cover it on this channel. I don't like the transactional nature of it, or the lack of transparency of pricing of it. And you know, like the storytelling. Everyone's got different stories of what they got where, what they got it for, and it's just it turns me off. It turns me off to that side of the market, you know. So that's all it is. Let me see. Let me go up to this pot. We'll start taking some questions, guys. Appreciate everyone. Oh, since I have 156 people here, I do want to say this. From the bottom of my heart, I think everyone so much for all the support. Guys, that video yesterday was the top video I've ever had on my channel in terms of the performance in the first 24 hours. When I made this channel, I made it more geared towards shorter form content because, you know, a lot of the investing space at that time was more like longer form live streams, discussions. And I didn't think as many people had like the time to really like dig in and go through all that. So I wanted to make a channel that gave you a lot of investing advice in short little segments that you could actually take and use, and you didn't have to spend all day listening to it. And since then, we've had tons of investing channels pop up. Like when I started, like, you know, 2-3 years ago, there wasn't like they are now. Now you got tons of people that do what I do, and it's easy. And you can find the information all over the place. But that's kind of, my long form content has really been geared towards my lives. That was one of the first videos I made. Maybe I made a couple in the past, but that I made that was like a longer form, real talk, like 40-minute video. And I mean, you guys crushed it. Like the amount, you know, when I said leave bacon cheeseburger in the chat, if you made it the whole time, I cannot believe how many of you left that in the comments and how many of you watched that entire video. And I know people didn't just skip to the end and see that and leave that comment or copy off other people, because the amount of watch hours I got on that video was higher than almost any live stream I've ever done. Far more than any video I've ever made, not even close. It's like the most viewed watch time video on my channel already. And it tells me I'm definitely gonna do more of that, but I appreciate you guys taking that much time out of your day to listen to a 40-minute video about this kind of topics. And I mean, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful because, you know, when I started this channel, like I was nobody, right? And I'm still relatively nobody in the space, but I mean, you know, I didn't have any friends in this hobby. I didn't know anybody. I didn't like go to tournaments or conventions or worlds or regionals or none of that stuff. I just collected with myself and my local friends and invested with my local friends. And you know, you guys know I've been kicked out of other online forums. And I've been banned from other channels. And so I was to the point where it's like, I want to talk about this stuff, but every time I keep talking about it, I get in trouble or something. So I'm like, I'm just going to make a channel to talk about it, see if other people want to, you know, see things my way, want to hear, you know, what I have to say and talk and discuss these things. And it's just been such a blessing that, you know, so many of you have, you know, just watched the videos, stuck with the channel. I know some people in the comments said they've been watching since I had 1,000 subscribers. And I mean, I just truly, and I know anyone that's been with me that long, you've been through it with me. Like you've been through the drama, you've been through, you know, some of the attack, you've been through a lot with me, a lot of ups and downs on this channel. And I just appreciate all the support, guys. And I'm not trying to turn this into like a, you know, one of these things, but like, I don't know how else to say it. I truly appreciate the, you know, support and the channel growing. And, you know, and then the last thing I want to say is I want to congratulate everyone who consistently sends me emails, Instagram, and Discord messages of their performance, like showing me their charts they have, tracking it with whatever app they're using, and how much gains they've made since they started following the channel or since they got in the hobby. And I mean, you guys always like thank me so much, but you guys did it. You guys did it. You put this information into practice. You took the risk. You put your money where your mouth is. And a lot of you are up like hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like some people are up like almost $10,000 already because they've, you know, put it into practice. And like, congratulations to all of you who have done, you know, what I've done and continue to be successful with it, because it's all it's all about. You know, it's what these videos are about, to help everyone kind of learn from what I do, my experiences. And sometimes I get things wrong, but you know, other times like I just want to see everyone do well. And I know there's always that conversation about, well, if too many people are doing it, or if too many people know, it will no longer work. But it's like, guys, the amount of people in this world doing in this hobby, trust me, couple thousand people on a YouTube channel, it's not going to make much difference. I promise you that. So, yeah, congrats to all of you. Thank you all so much. And more videos like that in the future. And man, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how many people watched that video. I was just like, you know, it's probably going to be a lower viewed video, but it's a longer video. So, you know, I need to mix some of those in. No way, shape, or form that I think that was going to perform anywhere near the way it did. And it just really shows me like, you know, just the support in this community. So, thanks for that, guys. All right, let's move on. All right. The team up box is looking sexy. I know, isn't it? I'm gonna have it at Collecticon Chicago. It's not gonna be cheap. I actually expect not to sell it, but I want to bring it for some eye candy. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Did I? Am I back at the top? Yeah, I'm back at the top. Okay. Ramon, you know the video will be good when Alex wears his NN blue shirt and white Under Armour cap. That's how you know, man. Hey, rewind to the very beginning. You guys, I took the hat off. I showed the hair. I'm not bald. I'm not wearing anything sitting pretty. Somebody, let's see. All right. What's up, boss? What's your stance on 151 UPC in 3 to 5 years? I liked them a lot when they were in the 80s and 90s. Buying in now, it's a little, I don't want to say like risky for long term, but this is my personal belief. I have no inside information. There's no information out there yet. But if 151 gets reprinted in English, I would expect ETBs and or booster bundles to probably be the two things that would be reprinted. I don't think the UPCs are going to get reprinted again, especially after those huge Costco drops and things like that. So I think the UPCs are actually safer than the other items. But I will say this: if the other items get reprinted and the pack price will fall and the singles will probably fall because there'll be more of them out there, and that will probably affect the price of the UPC in the short term. But I think the scarcity of them in the future and those 3 promo cards is going to help a lot. I do think UPCs are going to be good in the future. I would put them somewhere between Charizard UPCs and Celebrations UPCs. Like, I think they can be in that level. I think they could be like 200s pretty easily. Where do you find boxes to ship weird size products? Be honest with you, I usually like Frankenstein some box together that I have sitting in the basement, like that I got shipped something else in, and I'll just kind of like take a box cutter and like cut the sides and like fold it in and try to like, make it fit like that, just bubble wrap the item up. That's kind of the best way I found. Like I don't have like a million different size boxes all sitting in my basement. I have like the regular size stuff. Any of the weird stuff, it's hard. UPCs though, you'd probably want to check. Ask someone who has like a store who like sells sealed product full time. I don't really ship UPCs. I rip them on screen, like Charizard UPCs, 151 UPCs. I'll do pack breaks with them, but I don't actually ship the actual box. So I don't really ship many UPCs. So I can't answer that for you, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, those Crown Zenith boxes in Sam's Club. Yeah, if you can pick those up, they're great prices. The price per pack's so low. Absolutely. Alex, do a quick summary of important market news from last week, like quick takeaways. Market news. I mean, you can go to Pokey Beach, or there's a lot of YouTubers that do good news. I'm not one of the news guys. Like, I appreciate the news content, like the people who keep us informed and everything. I'm just not really one of those guys. Like, I'm not a guy that, like, first of all, I don't watch the news, like in general, like the regular news. I don't like, I'm not worried about the daily political drama or the, daily whatever, murder happened here, whatever that happened here. I don't really watch the news. I'm saying with Pokemon, I don't really pay attention to a lot of the day-to-day news. Obviously I know when new products are coming out and I'll research them kind of a week or two before. But the news guys, that just, maybe so you can make some plays based on news, but I just don't see it as a huge benefit knowing all the ins and outs of what's happening in Pokemon. I just don't care enough, and so I'm probably the worst guy, one of the worst guys to come to for like daily news in the hobby. I don't know who to recommend. Like maybe like Danny Phantom, or I don't know who else is like really keeps up with like all the news. Maybe like Pokebeard, guys like that. And they do a great job. Like, again, those guys make great content. I just, it's not for me, right? It's just not for me. Everyone's got different things. Like, I'm not like really a business channel. Like, I do some business, like stuff, but like there's Pokemon business channels who will talk all about running a business, and the people who talk about all like drama. Like, there's, the news and market people. Like, everyone's got their own niche, no one's better or worse. It's just not my thing. All right, question for you on Japanese 151, recovered to around $100 a box. Seeing how popular demand is, how many people in Japanese as a whole, does this change your view on Japan, on Japanese? No, not at all. Honestly, to be honest with you, a lot of the specialty sets have actually done better in Japan because they have boxes and they're not like specialty products like ETBs, UPCs, all that. So actually, if you go look back, a lot of these specialty sets have actually done relatively well, actually better than English in Japan. This may have been asked before I went on my rant, but I just don't. It's not enjoyable for me. I don't like the unoptimization of the market. I don't like how everyone has different price points they bought it at, or they lie and they say they bought it at all these different price points. He got it for 60, he got 45, he got 30, he got this, he got that. And I don't like all the different channels you have to go through to purchase it. I don't want to buy it from Japan or wire people money or worry about, the clear wrap and if it's resealed. I just don't want it's not for me, but there's a lot of money to be made if you know what you're doing. And I applaud everyone. I see Pokey and E in the chat, like Brian. I mean, he's making tons of money, because he's went through the right channels to set up the right relationships, and he does great in that space. And so, I'm happy for everyone making money. But no, it doesn't change my view. My view has always been the same. I think you can do good in Japanese stuff. It's just not for me. It's like I said, it's why I don't invest money in cigarette companies, right? It's not for me. I'm not going to go invest money in alcohol companies. I'm not about that. And so it's there's money to be made everywhere, guys. It's just, I feel like English is the easiest market. That all the distributors sell at the stores between $88 and $92. That, in the last 10 years, the worst reprints have went down to 70, 75 a box. They're all, if you get in around $85 to $95, you're going to be relatively safe. And it's really easy to get tons of quantity. You can buy it all from US seller, from stores with a credit card or whatever, and right on eBay or right on, and it's just easier for me. And I just like that ease, right? I like that ease of transaction. So that's all it is. But no, I mean, my view on Japanese, does it change my view? No, because I think people get twisted. My view on Japanese is different from my my interaction with it. I don't interact with it, but my view on it is you can do well with it for sure. Specialty sets are going to be better too, I think. I think specialty sets do better compared to English than regular sets do. Again, depending on the price you get. I don't know. Maybe some people get it for $20 a box and others are paying $40. It's just I just don't like the fact of never knowing. I don't like the fact of not being able to compete. Not knowing what everyone's paying, right? I don't want everyone to, and again, people lie. And so it's you go on Discords and online and you look at other videos and everyone's got a different story of what they bought their Japanese boxes from. And that just turns me off. I don't like that. I want to start growing a snowball rolling. The first submission won't be the best, but I'm thinking 20 cards will teach me something. Top hits only. What are you doing with sub 10s currently? Fernando, I'm probably a bad person to ask on this. I give away a lot of the 9s, in the live streams on pack breaks. Some of them they have some value and I'll sell them. But I'll either sell them or I'll put them in pack breaks. 9s are rough, dude. 9s are rough. So, maybe you could, sometimes you can definitely message in in the Discords, because there's streamers that'll pay you a bulk rate, $8 a slab or something, and they'll run them through their TikToks or their whatnots and they'll make a profit on them. So sometimes there's streamers that'll buy them. Buying and selling ETBs. If you can do it. If there's margin there and you can, after you shipping and fees or however you're selling, you can make a margin. It's always a good idea to make a margin if you have it. I'm not sure how easy it is to flip modern ETBs though, especially right at release. But if you found a way to do it, man, go for it. Oh, for example, I got a couple of Paldea eval for 33 after taxes in hopes that hopefully by the summer they will be worth more. Yeah, man, I wouldn't get in that habit. I wouldn't get in the habit of thinking that things are going to rise that quickly and you'll be able to flip sealed product. Sealed product is not made to be flipped. Unless you have distribution or, if you're doing Japanese and you're getting it from overseas, you have a good supplier and you're able to make a margin that way. And even those people, they'll tell you like margins are thin. Like you're talking 5-10% margins a lot of the time, maybe 15. But yeah, man, like English product, it's just like the big stores just they get product for so cheap. They have deals set up with all the online platforms to get lower fees, and they're able to just crash the prices and keep them low and still make a profit. And it kind of hurts all the smaller sellers. So I don't know how much you could do that. Now, if you have like a way to like offload them in person, no fees, no shipping, go for it. But be careful with that. Be careful. With all the doom and gloom, I love it. The doom and gloom, baby. You'd think Pokemon booster boxes, other products would be a bargain prices, yet they aren't. Dude, I don't think there's as much doom and gloom right now. I think we're kind of in more of a bull market. I think this is more of a bull market finally. And so I don't think we're going to see too much crash. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Thing is, as soon as the reprint hits, a big chunk of the new supply will be eaten up by people who waited for the reprint after the supply goes down for the day-to-day, like before the reprint. 100%. 100%, Sir Manda. That's how reprints work. Almost every time, unless like I said in the video, it's where the demand goes down at the same time the supply gets ramped up by a reprint. If that happens, then you'll see prices stay down and be cheap and continue to go down. But as long as the demand's high and it's a bull market, it gets eaten up really fast. People are converting fake, unrealized gains in bubble markets into something tangible and real. Cardboard. I love it. I love it, Kurtoman. Eric said, are you prepping to do a large PSA submission? No, I'm not doing that. I know. Guys, honestly, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Like, I am not a high volume business. My business has a lot of different arms. As you guys know, I do a lot of different things, whether it be, things that center around content, things that do center around like pack openings, I do buying and selling slabs and collections and things like that. But I'm not a guy that like saves up all these hundreds of cards and waits for these little deals and tries to capitalize. And for me, like $2 a card, it doesn't matter as much to me, right? Like my margins aren't so thin that $2 a card is going to make a huge difference. Like PSA special is always $14.99. So all it really is $2 less. And so, like it just, for me, it's not as big of a deal. I don't have a submission ready. I'm not going to go out and try to find a bunch of cards just to take advantage of this. And so for me, it's not something I'm doing, but if you got 50 cards lying around, obviously do it. But no, for me, it's like, I don't really worry about hopping on like the little deals because it just doesn't make as much of a difference for the way I operate. Because I'm more of a lower volume seller. My income comes from more places than just buying and selling. So, but yeah, if that's what you do, go for it. I mean, it's freaking 50 cards to $100 you're saving. You're saving $100. Thoughts on One Piece? There's the question. I just had someone text me, a guy that's been on the channel before, and he was asking me about, moving into One Piece. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you're right, you're going to be very happy. Like, you're going to make a fortune, and One Piece survives. But I don't have confidence in Bandai. I thought they had learned their lesson, and we were going to see a different Bandai with One Piece. But when I started to see the reprints come and come and come, that's when I sold everything. And I took my profits and I wiped my hands clean of it. And I'm not moving back in just because I don't trust the company. I just think Bandai is so freaking money hungry. They don't care about creating a TCG. They don't care about creating a game that's going to last and stand the test of time. All Bandai cares about is snatching any name they can get, right? Any IP they can get their hands on. They'll take Dragon Ball, they'll take Digimon, they'll take One Piece, and they'll take any IP they can, and they will print that sucker into the absolute ground just to line their pockets. And I just don't want to be involved with a company like that. I hope, because One Piece has like crazy hype behind it. I mean, it is huge, and if it does survive and Bandai doesn't kill it, it'll do well. But it is a risk. So, allocate funds that you're okay taking more of a risk with, right? To me, it'd be like investing in like a single stock more than a mutual fund, where I think booster boxes are more like a mutual fund in Pokemon. One Piece is more like a single stock. Like, hey, if it goes up, you're going to cash out. If it goes the opposite way, you're probably going to, lose quite a bit. But that's all I'm saying. Now, I think One Piece as a game, as a IP, it's great. It should work. If they get their act together and don't print that into oblivion, it should do okay. I just don't have enough faith they won't, and that's why I'm not going to put any more money into it. I was really crossing my fingers at first, though, because it was going so great. All the boxes were rising. They weren't reprinting, and it was so nice. And then they had to just start trashing, man. It's, ugh. I mean, I'm lucky I got out when I did. Just say that. I mean, I sold my blue bottoms up around 900 to 1,000 a box. I sold my my Paramount War for in the 400s, and I sold the other boxes in like, I believe like the high 1s and 2s for I had Pillars of Strength, and I had Kingdoms of Intrigue, I believe it was. And so I got out, at good times, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how it progresses. I could be wrong. I mean, and here, going back to the Japanese thing, this is my issue right here, right here. Buying in at 45 to 60. And I get, like, I understand, and I'm a fan of saying in the long term, 5, 10, 15 bucks a box, it doesn't matter, right? It's the principle to me. It's the principle. It's that if people out there are really getting $45 boxes, they're buying in at almost 30% less than I am, right? 30%? Like, because if I'm going to deploy money, it's not going to be buying a box, right? I'm going to buy 10, 20 cases. And it's like, knowing that other people are getting their bottom dollar is 30% lower, it's like, in Pokemon, that's not the case. If I buy booster boxes at $88 from this distribution, I know other people out there are not getting 30% lower prices than me. And so, like, that's just my hesitancy of knowing that, like, not having the right contacts, I'm playing at such a disadvantage, where in English, you don't really need the right contacts. And so, yeah, that's kind of my turnoff. People still posting the cheeseburgers. I appreciate you guys, man. Brad, I really appreciate the support, man. Thank you. Let's see. Han said, I love the long form content. It's my favorite on YouTube. Great for listening to when driving or cooking or doing chores. Loud and clear, man. I will do more. Pokeson, I see you. Appreciate you stopping by today. Hopefully you can make tonight's stream in the Patreon. Trying to find some more questions, guys. Hold on. I'm planning to start a YouTube channel in the country where Pokemon cards aren't sold. Do you think I should? Man, that's brutal. I mean, there's a lot of different content you can do around Pokemon, so I'm sure you could still do well with content. For sure. How many bacon cheeseburgers did you get? Enough, my man. Enough. I watched the whole thing, even though I disagreed before watching. Hey, Mike, that's the best, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for giving it a chance, at least. Sir Manda, I know you've been here a while, man. I appreciate you. Brad's in the house. I call cap on any gains until I see you driving a Lambo. How about a paid off house deed? Does that qualify? That's more than a Lambo. That's more than a Lambo. I should have that soon. Best investments, Pokemon Center ETBs or regular ETBs? Is it worth it paying 15 to 20 bucks extra? Yes. The PC ETBs have continued to be, I would say, overall the second best investment next to booster boxes. And in the specialty sets, a lot of the times it's the best one. Especially in Scarlet Violet era, PC ETBs have been doing extremely well, and so especially on specialty sets. So yeah, PC ETBs for sure over regulars. Time to load up on Celebrations. Celebrations is kind of, it's flat, but it's not dropping anymore. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. Those UPCs being in the low 300s again is kind of attractive, though. Was the hype for Evolving Skies as big as Surging? Did people plan to hoard Evolving Skies like they plan to do with SP and Team Rocket set? You know, it's hard. Because Evolving Skies was kind of released in what I would call more of a bearish market. But it was an extremely strong set, and people did feel that way. But it wasn't like this market where things are strong and everyone is just making money and everyone's positive and they're trying to. So yes and no. Evolving Skies was hoarded. It was, you know, loved right away. But I think the market might just be stronger now, if that makes sense. Like, as a whole, I think people are more. And think about this: we've had 2-3 more years now of proven success and good performance, which just gives people more confidence that things will continue. And, you know, because of that, people will be more likely to spend more and hold and stuff. And so, yeah, so that's why I think, like, it might actually be worse than Evolving Skies because people are more confident now in it. But, yeah, that's a hard question. People did definitely like Evolving Skies immediately. Yeah, for sure. That was always like that. Long videos are great for Monday to Friday work week. Weekends, I'm usually busy to sit and watch videos. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, question. What would you be buying with these options? 2 cases of Paldea, 2 cases of Twilight, 1 booster box of Team Up. I don't know. Actually, the booster box of Team Up, just because it's so far under market price. Guys, Team Up selling for like $2,500 now. So you're basically buying at like a, what, 15% discount? So I would take the Team Up just because of price point. Because Twilight Masquerade, $1,500, like I think that's still for sale on Hills Wholesale Gaming for that. Pal D Evolve, $800 a case. That's a good price too, because those are more like $900 a case. So that's good too. You know, I'm a fan of buying anything a good percentage under market value. So I would say these two are probably more attractive. The Team Up has less risk because it's not getting reprinted, obviously, and it's that far under market. And it's just one of the most sought after sets in modern history so far. So I think I like Team Up the best. No, man, I haven't gone to Rusty's house. I told you guys this. I'm not in the club. They don't let me in the club. I'm not in the cabal. You have to go through a full cabal ceremony, put on your black robe if you want to be invited into the club. And I'm not part of the freaking club. So that's why I'm out here on my own. I don't subscribe to a lot of the opinions of a lot of the people in those groups is the issue. So we've gone at it before on YouTube and things like that, and in person at events. Not like actually fought, but like, you know, had arguments. And I think because of that, you know, people don't. I guess they don't really like having me around. Maybe I don't know. I really don't know what it is. No, I never get invited to that stuff though. All right, question. I have a few money to invest on some. What is cool to start? I'm interested in Japanese more. Is Shiny Treasures a good deal? You know what, man? If you're gonna have to go somewhere else, I'm not a Japanese guy. I know pretty much next to nothing about the Japanese market or price points. I can't answer it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Greninja is down to 450. Wow, that was fast. That was fast. Stellar Crown is sold out at Pokemon Center? Every single item? Pokemon's doing some stuff right now. Like, obviously, people aren't paying $160 a box. I don't know what Pokemon is doing, but they're definitely changing things up. It's interesting to watch. It seems like they are trying to capture. So here's this is my opinion, okay? Anyone that understands like business and public companies, right? Because Pokemon is a subsidiary of Nintendo, which is a public company. And so here's what, the whole mindset of like, if you're not growing, you're dying, that, kind of started from big business, Wall Street, pleasing the shareholders, all that good stuff. And so they have to constantly see revenue growth and profit growth. And there's only two ways to do that. It's sell more items or sell the same amount or relatively same amount of items and charge more for them. Or find different streams of revenue that you can actually realize more of the profits on the items than before. And so in my opinion, it looks like Pokemon is trying to maybe print less. In my opinion, it looks like they're maybe trying to print less and make the same, if not more money doing so by a few different ways. So one of the things it looks like they're doing is constantly putting more items back in stock on Pokemon Center, taking them off, putting them back, and kind of like giving this idea of scarcity. But then you're buying straight through Pokemon. They don't got to pay distributors. They don't got to ship it to distributors. And it's much cheaper for them to sell that way, right? It's cheaper probably to have an employee, there to ship the stuff than it is to give the distributors a piece of the pie and all that stuff. So that's one thing they're doing. Another thing they're doing is they're making big deals with big box stores, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon, and you're seeing a lot more products show up there where, yeah, they're all making pieces of the pie, but now Pokemon can sell those items without having to sell to the distributor, and distributor sell to stores, so it jacks up the price. So now they're able to keep the prices lower to the consumer, but Pokemon's probably still making as much, if not more, money based on their deals with the big box stores. And so it looks like they're trying to go different avenues to make, even if the revenue is the same, they can make a lot more profits by not throwing everything through distribution. So that's what it looks like to me, is they're trying to maybe grow and please the... Oh, and they also raised MSRP. So now they can actually sell less items and still make the same amount of money because they're actually selling less, or because you're paying more per box or per item. And so it looks like they're trying a lot of different avenues to raise the profits and raise the revenue without necessarily printing more, which is a good sign. May not be a greatest sign for distributors and LGSs, but it's a good sign for the price points and the company as a whole, and not over dumping supply on the market just to make the money to please the shareholders. So it does look like they're switching things up, in my opinion. Now, we'll see if that continues, but from an outsider looking in, I can kind of see they're maneuvering differently than before. And Stellar Crown being out of stock like that, I think that's just part of their plan they're putting into practice to see if it works, type thing. Are you buying sealed at Collecticon? And does sealed product sell well at Collecticon? Well, sure, I'm buying anything. Yeah, if you come to my booth, I'll buy anything from you if I'm looking for it. And sealed product, I don't know. I never sold at Collecticon. We'll find out. I think it does. Pretty good. Like, I know, like when I was hanging out with Pokemon Plumber at New Jersey at his booth a lot, he moved a lot of sealed product. So yeah, I think it does pretty well. Brian was letting you guys know on the UPCs, U-line 15 by 11 by 5, perfect packaging. There you go. There it is. That's why it's good having a full-time sealed product shipper in the house. Oh, well, sorry. You're replying to somebody else. My bad. Question. Alex, do you think the Terra concept will age well? I personally don't think it will, but apparently it seems to be popular. Do you think the gimmick's popularity will wear off over time? Yeah, I don't get it either. I didn't get it in the game. I don't get it. Like, I don't play the card game, so I don't understand about that. Like, I played the video game, but I didn't get it there. I don't know. It's not for me. Megas weren't super, I would say, popular, or, they kind of wore off pretty fast. Tag teams were a great gimmick. Alt-arts are a great gimmick. Rainbow rares, whatever. Yeah, it does seem like one of the weaker gimmicks they've come up with. I don't know. I'm not super excited about it for the future. But again, maybe the kids are, maybe the players are. I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. Sleeved booster case. Selling is a case instead of breaking it down. Well, it's just the same old thing as always, man. You sell it as a case, you know, move it faster. You're gonna get less. You want to break it down, you're gonna get more, but it's gonna take you a lot longer to sell. You know, so it's just kind of what your time frame is. If you got the time and you're not hurting for the cash, you don't need the capital. You probably do better selling it as like 4-pack lots, like one of each artwork type thing. I think people usually do the best like that. But yeah, by the case, like they don't usually hold a case premium on those, right? Like I think you usually get it's a case discount on a lot of those other products. So yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for. Dude, I'm the worst, man. I'm a boomer. I still got things on freaking Excel spreadsheets. Excel spreadsheets, that's all I got. And I only update them every like quarter. So I got a lot of stuff right now that's not even on them right now. So yeah, I don't I was a lot more diligent with it when I had smaller inventory, but now it's just it takes so long to like go through everything, count everything, and you know update all the pricing that I just can't do it like I used to do as much. Like I just don't want to too. So I only do it about once every like quarter, and I'll update it. Like I'll just go through and update the pricing, update the quantities and things like that on an Excel spreadsheet. And you know the reason I haven't moved it into something else is just because of the sheer volume. The time it would take me, I'm sure, to move everything. It's just I just haven't done it. I have so much other stuff going on right now. I'm trying to do with the channel, with the business, that it's not on the top of my to-do list. So that's kind of where I am with that inventory situation. Question: I want to start grading myself. Awesome. I know you source your cards locally, but just curious, what was your success rate finding cards on eBay to grade and get 10s? Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, I bought my silver Dialga from Phantom Forces on eBay, and I paid $200 for it, and then graded a PSA 10. I sold it for $3,500. So I mean, pretty good. Not as good as in person, but I mean, hey, if you look, it's not that you can't do well with eBay; it's the time. What I didn't like was the time, right? To do well, you're gonna have to go click on every listing, zoom into every picture, zoom around. If you can't see good enough, you have to message the seller, ask for more pictures, and it's just very time consuming. So I don't think the question is, can you do well? What's the success rate? It's how much time do you want to invest into it? If you want to invest the time and really make sure all the pictures are great and ask for more pictures if you need them and all that, you can do well. You can do the same. You can do, 70, 75, 80, 85% gem rate if you're doing English cards. If it's Japanese cards, you can even get higher than that. But yeah, I think it's just more of the how much time do you want to spend doing it, because it's going to take a lot more time to actually find gradable cards on eBay. Alex, will there ever be a time where you go back and invest in older sets, black and white, older? What market conditions do you look for? So because you said invest, I'm going to say no. Because I don't think they're great investments. Will I ever go back and collect them? Possibly. I don't think it's a smart idea to buy a black and white box at, let's just say, $3,000 when you can buy 5 cases of a brand new set. Because that box is most likely not going to be $6,000 by the time those cases are worth $200 a box. Or, you buy them at 90, they're worth 180 each a box. Like, you have such a better potential to double your money in Modern. You also have such lower risk, right? Like, you have much lower risk than that. So I'm not ever going to invest in older product. But yeah, I mean, if it comes to the point where I got some extra cash lying around, I want to complete my booster box collection, you could definitely see me buy them for sure. Good containers. They make those, those acrylic cases, the ones with like the magnet on them, where it's like it fits the booster box perfectly. Just type in like, go to eBay and just type it. Actually, no, go to my website. Here, let's go ahead and share the screen because we are live. We are live. We can do those kind of things. Got to shout out my website here. All right, so go to the website, recommended products, and they're right here. Right here. So you click on it, it'll take you right to it. And this seller, Platinum Protectors, they make items for everything. Right? They make like, booster box, pops, ETBs, all that good stuff. Like any kind, and these are the cheaper ones, the kind that fold up and down. If you want like the more expensive ones, you want to get like the full acrylic, and they should be on the site. So if you just click on any of these listings, it should bring you to the same store. And then just type in here. I'll do it. You just type in like, go up to the top, type in like a acrylic display case. And here you are right there. So there's the acrylics right there. There may be cheaper ones on eBay, but this is this one I have linked because they are good quality. And so that's where you find the acrylics. How do reprints affect graded cards over the long term, mid to long term? I'd like buying PSA 10 Japanese 151 right now, maybe a good price point with all the increased card supply. Man, I don't really invest in slabs long term. I make shorter term plays on them. The majority, I was telling you, this is not going to be what you want to hear, but I'm here to just tell it like it is. And, I'm sorry if it's not what you want to hear. The majority of singles and slabs do not do well over time. Now, there's 5-10% of cards and slabs from each era that do extremely well. Some of them can even outpace some of the sealed product. But it's few and far between. It takes a little luck to find those right cards, because it's not always the ones you think it would be. And it's playing the singles and slabs game, it's very difficult to outdo sealed products. So that's the only thing I'm going to say about it. About timing, timing the market's hard. Yeah, I would say, probably now is a better timing than it was, before the reprint. So I get that. But yeah, so just be careful investing large amounts into slabs, hoping for appreciation. It can be a difficult game to play. It goes into this question right here, Frank. Booster boxes. Booster boxes are going to be the bread and butter in this hobby. I have tried Beckett. Black labels, guys, they're almost like a unicorn. Very, very, very difficult to get. And also, I kind of believe this. I haven't put it to the test yet. It's kind of more of a conspiracy theory. But there's a lot of talk out there, a lot of chatter, that Beckett is a pay-to-play company, meaning how do I say this? They prioritize those who pay at the higher tiers, who send express or super express or those real high dollar grading tiers. And if you send like the bulk tiers, you're very unlikely to get as many pristines and black labels. You'll get a lot more 9.5s and things like that. And I experienced this. I sent absolutely perfect cards and got 9.5s. Like they were maybe not black labels, they were pristines. They had at least pristines, right? Because I grade a lot of cards. I picked some of the most perfect ones I found and didn't get 110. And I've had other people send cards that looked worse, but they sent it at the highest tier, the $130 a card tier, and they got pristines and black labels. And so, unfortunately, I think it's more of a pay-to-play company. Again, it's 100% a conspiracy theory. It's not, no one proves this, but it does seem that way. And so I stick to PSA because it's more, I've got just as good gem race sending in bulk as I have sending in, the higher tiers. It's more of, again, every grading company has their problems, but it's PSA definitely doesn't discriminate on the tier you send at, which I like. How are individuals able to get 80? Okay, so distribution. If you have someone with distribution, like stores, a lot of stores get them for 88. Some get them for 90, 92. Places like SafariZone.com, they do pre-releases, open to the public. You can buy them, and a lot of times you have to buy quantity. You can't just buy one box. They'll sell cases, like 4-case quantity, that usually get down to like $89.99 a box. And so the people getting boxes cheaper are usually buying quantity, by the case, and maybe multiple cases. If you're just looking for a single box or a couple boxes, it is harder to find them in the 80s or low 90s, but you should be able to still find boxes in like the 95 to 100 range. So yeah, I wouldn't, unless things start changing. Like things are changing right now. We're getting less supply and they're selling quicker and things like that. And there's more hype. There's bull market. So I may have to, it may be harder to find them under $100 coming up, but you should be able to find them still in the 95 to 100 range at release. So that's what I would tell you. Yeah, I got cases of Hawk Tuo cards. That's going to the moon. If you guys don't have Hawk Tuo cards, I don't know what you're doing. Hit 45 tens out of 59, gearing up for the next stub. Love it, Pokey Pulls. Nice order. What does it say? Thoughts on Sword and Shield 1 to 2 years from now? What's your feeling on growth? Positive. I think it's all going to be higher. My opinion. Even things like that, like Darkness Ablaze are hitting a 150s a box again. Look, every time there's a massive run up, there's always a cooling off period. We're in the cooling off period. Money is moving to Scarlet and Violet. There will come a time where money moves back to Sword and Shield, and those boxes will rise again. Yeah, so 1 to 2. You said hours, 1 to 2 hours from now. Then you corrected years. I took it as years. We're good. But yeah, I think 1 to 2 years, it's a safe play that all the alt art boxes are going to be higher, and probably even the early boxes will be too. I'm holding all of mine. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm holding all of my Sword and Shield. I have not sold. I believe in it. I heard speculation that Stellar Crown will be Obsidian Flames 2.0. What's your thoughts? That is some strong words. First of all, that's impossible because the hit rates are already harder, right? The pull rates. So Obsidian Flames pull rates were extremely easy because it was a small set, and the SIR pull rates were only 32 1 out of 32. So that's kind of impossible to be Obsidian Flames 2.0. Could it be one of the weaker sets? Possibly. Could people just be holding off their money because they're waiting for Surging Spark? That's another possibility. But that Squirtle and Bulbasaur card, those are going to be chased after. So I don't think it's going to be Obsidian Flames 2.0. No, I'm not on that team. What's better long-term, repeatedly taking games or reinvesting in new sets, or holding sets as long as possible? Depends on what you're trying to do. I said that, I talked about this in the reprint video. Everyone's got different goals in this hobby, and I've had a lot of debates about this with other YouTubers who are more businesses, and they're flippers, and they make a living selling Pokemon cards, right? I don't say flippers is like a bad term. It's just what they do for a living. And that's their business model, is they churn and burn everything, and they don't believe that, they believe investing is just dead money because you can make money more in the short term. And my rebuttal to that always is, well, do you invest elsewhere? Do you have any investing anywhere? And if they say, well, yeah, I have a 401k or a Roth IRA, I say, great. Do you constantly buy and sell your stocks in there? And then they usually say, well, no. And I say, well, why not? And they say, well, I'm just investing for long-term growth. Exactly. And so you have to be able to separate yourself on what you're doing. Are you trying to run a business and make an income? Because I'll tell you right now, yes, making an income is always going to beat investment growth, right? Always. Unless you're, got billions or millions in the stock market and, 10% is more than you can make in a year. Great. But most always, long-term growth, appreciation each year is always going to be beat by what you can go out and physically make as an income. So if you're trying to buy, hold, sell, maybe grade cards and sell, yes, you can do better, right? But do you want to spend your time constantly watching every whim of the market, constantly buying, or constantly, making listings, getting sales, shipping them out, getting the money, hoping nothing goes wrong, right? Then you get the money, you get the funds, put it into something else, back and forth. Do you want to do that, or do you just want to invest, put the money to work, not think about it, and it grows passively? Those are the two things you need to ask yourself. Also, you have to ask yourself this. A lot of people won't talk about this. If you sell something it goes from 100 to 200, you don't get $100 profit. You got to take fees. Maybe you don't have fees. Maybe you're selling through friends and family on Facebook. Well, they're still shipping, right? So every time you sell, right, and you move into something else, that new item has to do actually better than the item you sold, because you've already taken a chunk out based on taxes and fees or shipping and fees, whatever it may be. And so that chunk you took out already took out of the growth it was, right? It'd be like, selling a stock for $10 and, they took fees and all this stuff out, and now you only have $970, right? So you sold 100 shares at $10. Instead of having, $1,000, you got $970 to invest now. So now you have to make that $970 into $1,000 again. So you have to really make like what, a few percent on your new investment just to break even on the investment you just sold. And so you're constantly kind of fighting uphill. Not that you can't do well doing that. It's just, you just have to come up with what you're trying to do, guys. Like, if you're trying to be a business, right? If you're trying to invest long-term, invest long-term. If you have extra time on your hands and you don't mind being more of an active investor, like on Wall Street, you'd be more of a trader, swing trader, they call that. Like a day trader is intraday, right? They're in and out of multiple stocks per day. A swing trader, they'll buy things, hold them for a few months, few weeks, whatever it may be. It's more of what I do in the stock market these days. And you can swing trade things, right? Hold the box for 6 months, a year and a half, sell that, realize some gains, move into something else. And you can do that way. So it's really about what your goals are and how much time you're wanting to put into the hobby. But yeah, if you want to sell Lost Origin right now at $220, whatever, move all that money into Surging Spark and rinse and repeat. You want to sell Twilight Masquerade already. You want to sell Paldea Evolved already and keep rolling the money. Of course, yeah, you can do that. No problem. I mean, there's, me, myself, I sold Evolving Skies way too early and I had to buy back in later. I told in my video that when I sold Team Up, I sold Team Up during the pandemic for like $700, $750 a box, right? And then I missed out on it going to $2,500 a box. And I'll tell you right now, that $700, you couldn't, wherever you put that $700 back then, it probably didn't perform as good as leaving it in Team Up. So the grass isn't always greener. Just remember that. So kind of a long-winded answer, but I really wanted to kind of make that point because you really have to decide what's best for your situation because the answer is not the same. Hold on. I don't want to skip where I'm at in the chat, but I did see some people. I'm going to go take this right now because I saw they get a super chat. We got Rhoda TCG. Thank you for all the information. Did really good the last 2 months. You changed my view on the market. It's so much easier now. Just started my own business because of it. Keep it up. I love that. Congratulations on that. Thanks so much. I'm really happy to hear that. Thanks for the super chat and also gifting 10 subs as well. 10 memberships. Wow. Rhoda, I am happy for all your success. Congratulations. Thank you so much for the support, my man. Wow. What do you think the price for a 10 in some modern cards is barely higher than the raw market value? It has to do with it being too easy to grade. So if the gem rate, the PSA 10 rate is really high, so say 80, 70, 80% of them are grading 10s, and it's a really easy card to grade because the print quality was really good. It's the same reason a lot of Japanese cards are really cheap, is because they're so easy to grade because the quality's so good. That's why the PSA 10 won't have a very big of a multiple. Then the cards that have really hard to grade, that have like a 20% 10 rate, and 2 out of 10 get a 10, well, those have huge multiples, and you'll be able to make exponential amounts of money. So that's the reason. The alt arts have a pretty big issue with that, right? Like they don't have a huge multiple because they're really easy to grade, unfortunately. No, I have zero Lorcana. I literally have actually zero Lorcana. I sold my excess Lorcana boxes I did have left to Jesse, Hands of Hobbyist. He's a big Lorcana player. He took everything I had. So I literally have zero Lorcana. I have 0 One Piece, except I did keep 1 blue bottom OP1 box. So that's all I have on those things. What is a great investment? A great investment for $200 to $300? Oh boy, man, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think Surging Spark is going to do really well at release. I'd maybe get a box of that for $100, when it comes out, because I think it'll have a pretty massive run up like we saw with Twilight, and you'll be able to make money pretty quickly on it, in my opinion. And then maybe buy a box of Paradox Rift. I like Scarlet Violet Base at $90 a box, like it is on TCG Player, or it was. Here's the thing, to me, great investment is low risk with highest possibility of gain. Not necessarily the most gain. You guys could have a whole bunch of things out there that you make a lot more money than me on, but my risk level is going to be lower, and I'm going to lose a lot less often than a lot of people. And so, Scarlet Violet Base at $90, very difficult to ever lose. It's already had a reprint. It's a 1.5 years old. Great pickup, in my opinion. It may not be the greatest, but you're going to make money, in my opinion. Paradox Rift, still around $100. In my opinion, one of the stronger sets in the era. pretty safe at $100. Surging Spark at release with all the hype behind it, if you can get it for $100. So like things like that's what I look for. Low risk, higher possibility of reward. Maybe not the highest reward, but highest possibility of reward, if that makes sense. Appreciate it, Omega. No, I'm not cracking the team up box. Absolutely not. That thing is minty. That is a minty team up box. It's worth more sealed. Volcanomics. That's what it is here, baby. Yeah, Temporal Forces too. Temporal Forces is a good pickup at the price point too. Yeah, Paradox Temporal while everyone's on Twilight. I like that mindset. Six to 12 months as a Pokemon investor. Everything I just said. I think SV Base, Paradox, Twilight, Temporal. Even going back to Sword and Shield sets that are still low. Silver Tempest, Astral Radiance, Battle Styles. I think all those are very low risk at this point. And they have good possibilities of gains in the next 6-12 months. Yes. That Magneton promo is going to be well received because I'll tell you one thing. It's made by the same artist that drew the Magikarp, Paldea Evolved, and the Garatina from Lost Origin. So because of that, I think people kind of have like this following for that artist already. And yeah, I think it's going to be very well received. I really do. Guy, I wasn't aware of this. Did someone steal a whole bunch of Moonbryons? Blue biome. I didn't know this. That's interesting. It could, yeah. I know you talk about Pokemart USA and their program, so I bought a membership, but it has been pending for the last week. Do you know how long it may take to be able to start buying? John, reach out. So on Discord, reach out to Eli. Reach out to Pokemart USA. Just private message him. Let him know what's going on. He'll take care of it himself. And he'll even have a call with you usually and explain to you the program and how to be successful in it. Yeah, just reach out to him. I'd help you, but it's not my program. I don't run it. Yeah, you should be able to get in right away. Tips on spotting fake cards on eBay. Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard to, it's not hard, but it's hard to explain. Like, a lot of this game, it comes with experience, being able to look at a box and look at a card and almost know it's fake. Sometimes the fakes are good and you can't even tell, or it's resealed and you can't tell. Some of the best people have been fooled in this hobby. It's too hard of a question to really like go into all of it. It's really more of a case by case basis. If it's from a seller that looks suspicious and the card looks suspicious and the price seems too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. If you see an Evolutions booster box for $300, it's probably too good to be true. No one's selling Evolutions for $300, right? Like, common sense usually prevails. Brian's not in the club either. Nope, we're out. We're ousted. It's funny too. Like, speaking of that, like, I'll click around YouTube sometimes and I'll visit other YouTuber streams, smaller YouTubers, bigger. It doesn't matter who I go for. But and it's like you see all these guys in live streams together, and it's a lot of the same like group and the same chats and all these different channels, and like then you'll see them in like like I said, like those types of situations, Rusty's house or dinners or this or pictures, and it's just like it is funny how it does seem like there's groups in the hobby that kind of they stick together, and it's not very welcoming of to get into. So it's and I've experienced it firsthand. I've experienced it, and it's not that anyone's like openly like mean to me or like disrespectful or anything like that. It's just like there's definitely like a kind of like cliques in the hobby that they're not super inviting or inclusive. And me and Brian are some of the ones that haven't gotten in that clique apparently, right? We don't get invited too many places, so is what it is. Are any of Pokemon's financials part of public record? Yeah, they are actually. Like, it takes some digging. You have to dig through their releases when they have their quarterly reports. But yeah, I think you can actually kind of narrow down, like, I don't know if you can exactly narrow it down by cards, but you can narrow it down by like Pokemon's revenue in Nintendo's company. But I'm not sure if it goes all the way down to cards on their releases or not. I'd have to do some digging. I haven't really taken the time to do that, because Nintendo's a Japanese company, obviously. But yeah, I need to take the time to do that. It's a good question. Maybe we'll do that in another video coming up. I've been chasing every deal and every penny for the last 2 years. Now I'm just buying booster boxes that release and sitting on it. It's so much less stressful, boring, but not a bad thing. Yeah, and so that's why I was saying that earlier, is especially before I was full-time in this hobby, like, maybe I'm not like, a big enough Poke nerd or something. I don't know, but like, I didn't want to spend every waking hour outside of my day, outside of my 8 hours of work, my 8 hours of sleep, and then the time I spend with my wife. I didn't want to spend every other hour like being glued to the market and buying and selling and finding this deal and selling it here. I didn't want to do that, right? So I've always been a long-term investor. Now that I went full-time in the hobby, doing content, doing this, I definitely move a lot more. I definitely sell a lot more. I'm definitely in and out more than I was, but it's my job now, right? That fits in my normal work day instead of after work, when I get to still enjoy myself, hang with my wife, not worry about it. So I'm doing it more now. But yeah, man, like, I think people downplay, and some people, they say, well, this is what they do for fun, and it's their like hobby, it's their entertainment, and that's fine. Like, if you're in a position to where buying and selling and finding deals and shipping and making listings and dealing with customers and all that is what you truly enjoy, well, then you hit the jackpot. You enjoy working, and good for you. But like, a lot of people don't enjoy all that side of things, and so yeah, for you, people like me, buying the box, is sitting in the basement, not worrying, like, Alex, you gotta go to this website. They're running a special. Costco's got deals. Sam's Club's got deals. Oh my gosh, Pokemon Center, they re-released the tins. They did this. And it's like, everyone's clicking around all day. I gotta buy that, buy this, buy this. I'm part of this Twitter group. I'm part of this Discord group. They send me the specials every day. They have all these. And it's just like, dude, that sounds so freaking monotonous. It sounds so stressful. I want no part of that, right? It sounds crazy to me. But at the same time, I'm not against it. Anyone who wants to put forth that, it happens in every industry. People do it with like a scalp concert tickets. They do it with all the other hobbies. They'll do it with like anything that's released, right? PC games, video games, special releases, right? Like skateboards are out now. They got the Yu-Gi-Oh skateboards with the bear, what is it? Bear walker. Like, it happens everywhere. Anyone who wants to put forth the effort and the time to do that, more power to you. I hope you make profit. Like, that's like what people like misconstrue what I say sometimes, of like me being like against something. I'm not against it for you or others. I want everyone to make money however they want to make it. I'm just against it for me. Like, that's not how I want to spend my time. But so I get it. Like, yeah, it's the booster box game is such a more relaxing. It's more, and it's more proven. You don't have to worry about the constant whims of the market. Time is your friend. And so yeah, it just that's a good question to really make a point on, is, guys, don't try to do what other people do if it doesn't make you happy, right? Don't think there's like only one way to be successful in this hobby. If you start doing something and you realize it's not really for you, don't do it. Don't get in your mind like, oh no, if I don't do this, I won't be successful in the hobby. If I don't grade cards, if I don't sell bulk, if I don't move sealed, if I don't invest in sealed, if I don't invest in boost, like, or if I don't go get these deals when they're out, if I don't get the restock, I gotta open another credit card, I'm out of money. Like, don't fall into that trap. You don't have to do one or a couple things to be successful in this hobby. People are successful in all different ways. I'm proof, right? I don't follow the stigma of a lot of people that are full-time in Pokemon. I don't do a lot of the things a lot of other people do. And so don't be afraid to do your own thing. If it's not for you, if you realize it's not fun, don't do it. Don't do it. Do you plan to buy Japanese booster boxes on the upcoming EV set? No. L-Dubs, maybe you just got here. I'm not going to be mean to you. Maybe you just got here. I don't invest in a Japanese product. Terapagos is big in Moderate Horizon in the Horizons anime. I said Modern Horizon. The new season is getting very popular in Japan and even in the US. Niece is 7 and loves it. I've heard that. Someone else told me that their kids are loving that too, and it's a main character. I've heard that. So yeah, that's actually that's good to hear. Maybe it'll do well. Do you think it's worth it to try to get distribution for business, and how much liquid capital do you need to start working with distribution? Depends, man. I mean, what's your goal? Like, it's you're put it this way. Remember how I said you're going to get $88 boxes? You're not getting that. You're going to start out at probably $95, $96 a booster box. All your stuff is going to be more expensive than what other people are paying who already have established accounts who spend millions of dollars a year. You're going to get less of it. You're going to be working on very limited product, very limited, if any, margins, and it's going to take you a long time to build up to good allocations and good prices. Now, if you're trying to like start a business that you want this to be your career for like the long-term future, yeah, of course it's worth it. If you're thinking you can get distribution to like make some quick bucks and flips and you're going to get cheap product, nope, not going to do it. You can pre-order at Safari Zone and you'll get better prices than you're going to get from distribution with a new store. So, depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, this is a good thing to talk about. Kitakami cards. Is anyone using the new TCG player volume metric to gauge set popularity? For instance, Twilight Masquerade sold 13.99 ETBs in a week before release, while Stellar Crown have only sold 187 this week. Interesting. I haven't used that. I haven't like I haven't like dug through and like compared a bunch of different releases and how certain cards and items have done price like movement and sales and all that. That would be interesting. That's another interesting video. I need to write these down. That'd be another interesting thing to do on a video, is look at all that. That's interesting to hear, though. Yeah, they reprinted Celebrations. Are you kidding me? They didn't reprint the UPCs. They reprinted the ETBs, though, and they printed tons of those collection boxes and all that BS. So a lot of Celebrations packs got printed. No, it was not similar to 151. The UPCs never got reprinted. Other stuff got reprinted. Celebrations was in the 40s, like 40s and 50s in ETB for a good amount of time. Evolutions, 151, it shot up pretty quick compared to Celebrations. Do you think Pokemon's website will ever lower booster boxes from 161? No. They go to the majority of the market knows, the alternative sites. No, they won't do that. That's MSRP. It doesn't matter what other sites sell them for. That's MSRP. It's kind of like this. If you go to Walmart and pick up a loaf of bread, and on that loaf of bread or any product, it'll have a price on it. Say it says, $4.39, and then Walmart will be selling it at $2.99, right? The $4.39, that's the manufacturer's suggested retail price. That's what they suggest people to sell them for. And so some stores, like a local, mom and pop grocery store, sometimes they will list it at full MSRP, $4.39, but Walmart will undercut everybody to sell it cheaper. Same thing with this. The actual price of a booster box is $161. Now, stores get them from distribution at, $88, and they choose to take less margin and sell them for $100. Now, if every store stopped competing and it became like a few big conglomerates and there was no smaller sellers, realistically, you could have every box at 161. It's just the fact that people are competing, and they're competing for lower fees, lower rates, lower purchase prices. And when they get those, they undercut everyone, and then they undercut, and that's when prices get really low. And so it's just kind of the free market and how it works. But no, they're not going to ever lower that. If anything, it's going to go up in the future if they raise it again. Oh man, I have 2 Flash Fire booster boxes, 1 Legendary Treasures. Woo! You think I should sell those, put money elsewhere? I can't answer that, Evo. I can't answer that. I mean, if you're looking to sell a Flash Fire, though, even a Legendary Treasures, hit me up. Let me check them out. Let me see the condition. I mean, I don't have either of those, and those are two amazing sets. And if they're minty boxes, they're definitely something I'd want in my collection. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, would it probably be a better idea to sell those and invest in the new sets? Yeah, but is there a possibility if you want those again, you're never going to be able to find them at this price again? Possibly. Like, it's possible if those just continue to steadily climb up, 3, 5, 8, 10% a year, whatever it may be. Probably not 10, maybe like 5% a year. And in 2 years, they're 10% higher, or compounding, they're 12% higher or something. And, you can never find them cheaper again. That's likely, right? It's likely a lot of those older boxes just continue to trend up when as supply gets lower and things like that. And so it's a hard decision. Like, strictly financial investment wise, yeah, you'd probably do better selling them, investing in a modern box at $90. It is what it is, right? But it doesn't mean they're going to go down. I don't do high volume. I do high margin. That's why Alex is the GOAT. I mean, dude, that's just how I that makes more sense to me, right? Like, I don't put it this way. Like, I've talked about this before, but like, I don't think I enjoy the work, like the business side of the business, as much as other people do. Like, I don't want to spend my days doing nothing but, buying out mass amounts of cards, sending in all these grading plays, listing all these singles, shipping and packaging orders all day, dealing with customers, having to sell like 100 cards and make like $5 every card just to make, $500 or whatever. It's just, it works. A lot of people are very successful with that. It's just, I've found different avenues to make similar money, maybe not as much, but similar profits. And I don't have to work near as much. And so that's just more, I guess, it has more allure to me to go that route than it does like going the route of like kind of getting in the rat wheel. And then it gets too busy. You got to hire employees. Now you got to deal with employees and the stress of that. And it's just not the route I want to go, unfortunately. But anyone that does do that and they're doing well with it, congratulations. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just not for me. Boondock, we're always doing good here. You know that, man. Trying to finish my PC collecting ETBs, BBs, other since XY to now. Been at a crossroads putting the Detective Pikachu box since I see it as the same as a McDonald's expansion. Yeah, dude, that's a funny set. It's like technically it was a full release set. It is funny. Let's talk about this. I want to talk about this real quick. You guys are going to love this. This is, I got to gloat. I got to gloat a little bit because a lot of people give content creators like me and like other investment channels shit for making top 5 videos. A lot of people hate those. They say, you can't predict a market. You shouldn't make top 5 videos, right? So let's go ahead, share the screen. Hold on. Where's the screen share? All right. Hold on 1 second, all. Trying to find the video on my channel of what I made. You guys will remember it too. Like, it wasn't that long ago. It was recently. Here it is. All right. Here it is. Okay. So I made this video, top 5 investments, August 2024. Okay. If you watch the video, one of the investments I talk about in that video, okay, it's Hidden Fates ETBs. Hidden Fates ETBs. Okay. I gotta show you. I gotta show you because this is funny. Look at this. $200 in ETB. When I made that video, they were still $170. So in a month, if you would have taken the play that month, you are up already, what, like, I don't know, 17% on your money that quick? I'm telling you, you could just see it coming. The reason and I'll tell you why I saw it coming. A lot of the top hits started to rise in price, both in the PSA cards and the raw singles, but the box hadn't moved. The pack prices were doing well, selling, moving up a little bit. the box hadn't moved. And then I started looking at the supply, and I was like, you know what? It may not have moved, but the supply is really dwindling on eBay. It's really dwindling on TCG Player. This is ripe to start moving to 200. And I didn't think it would happen this fast, obviously. I got lucky, but I saw this coming in the near future, and it happened like overnight. Hidden Fates is now selling at $200. So there isn't an actual sale yet. Sales are still in the 180s, 190s. Once this next one sells, it will officially have $200 Hidden Fates ETBs. Go figure. Go figure. Top 5 investments of August. We can predict this market. Can you believe it? Oh, man. But I do see Double Crisis as a real set. Maybe just a bias. Yeah, I know. See, Double Crisis is a perfect example of like Detective Pikachu. There were no booster boxes. There were no ETBs. It was all just like blister packs and things like that. So Double Crisis, I agree, much better more of a real set than Detective Pikachu. But yeah, it's definitely along the same lines, right? I agree. Who's going to buy these boxes when they eclipse 1,000? I mean, dude, just walk to you go to a Collecticon. They sell every day. Like every event, you see multiple, all the stuff. I mean, it's like, here's what you don't understand, right? Z, this is, so Zens, this is how you need to think about this. Right now, someone gets in the hobby right now, and they're successful, they have money, they want to collect Pokemon, they want to invest in Pokemon, whatever it may be. Well, they're looking at the market right now, and everyone's telling them, well, yeah, Evolving Skies is one of the best sets ever. And they're like, oh, really? So they go look, and $700. They don't know all the history, like, oh, it was 100, then it went to here, then it got reprinted, and you could have bought it here, you could have bought it here, you could have bought it there, you could have bought it there. They don't know that. All they know is, well, I shopped around. Lowest I can find it is $685. I'm buying it because I want it in my collection. And that's just how it becomes over time as things get more scarce. Rudy, Alpha Investments, talks about this. And he's pretty right on with this. Because I've seen my audience kind of already, for the most part, kind of like turn over in the couple, 2-3 years I've been on YouTube, where I see like almost all new faces. Some of you guys still around. But the hobby constantly kind of turns over every about 18-ish months, 12 to 24 months, where people kind of, they come and go. They get sick of it. They sell out their collection. They move on. New people enter the hobby. And so every 2 years or so, all the stuff that we all know that happened, it's all new to these people. And all the price points that things are at, that's what they're going to pay. So they'll come in the hobby. They'll say, oh, Sword and Shield's a great era. Oh my gosh, the All-Stars, this and that. Well, that's what a box costs. $220 for Lost Origin. Give me it. I'll buy it. Right? $1,000 for a Moonbryon. All right, I'll buy it. That's the best card, right? Well, you could have bought it here. Well, I couldn't have. I wasn't in the hobby. And so that's what people need to realize is the hobby's always growing. There's always fresh faces. And the price points continue to grow. And the fresh faces, they buy that. And also as our age group, I showed my analytics on Discord before. The majority of this hobby, at least that watches my channel, is 25 to 34, right? And then you have the kids. Now, once the kids grow up, once we age and become, more wealthy, make more money, the price points in the hobby are going to go up as well. And what we're willing to buy is going to rise because we have more. And we'll have more, gains on the products we do have. We're more likely to trade out what we have and buy some more expensive things. Just like the Flashfire box I just talked about. Right? If I was new to the hobby, no way in hell I'd pay $3,000+ for a booster box. But when I'm looking around at what I have, I'm up this much on Evolving Skies. Maybe I sell 4 or 5 Evolving Skies boxes, and then I get a Flashfire box, and it's like an even trade. Now it makes a lot more sense, right? And so that's what I would kind of counter that thought process with, is think more of that, of like the growth of the hobby, the new people, and kind of the growth of wealth and net worth and things in the hobby as things age. Tag rating, it's kind of gaining acceptance, right? I mean, there's been some pretty big sales. Like it's not a Beckett Black Label or a Pristine or anything like that. But yeah, it's doing pretty well. I mean, me personally, I want PSA. A PSA 10 is still more valuable to me than a Tag 10, but we'll see what the market says, right? I don't have a strong opinion on it. I'd be careful because I think there'll be people who will try to manipulate the market by saying Tag 10s are more real 10s because it's AI. I don't really agree with that. Because AI can make, I've seen some of those tag cards and they don't look any better than some PSA 10s do. So it is what it is. Why don't I ever do giveaways? We just gave away an Otherverse box like 2 days ago. And then I give away cards on I give away PSA slabs on my pack breaks every week. Every week. And also, I'll tell you the other reason. I don't like the crowd that giveaways attract. I've said this before, guys. I'm not competing to be, captain YouTuber, right? I'm not competing to see my sub numbers get higher than someone else's subs. And what giveaways do is they attract a bunch of people who just want free stuff, and they'll just subscribe to your channel and comment on the video so they're in the giveaway. They won't really come back to watch much of your content, and you'll have this bloated subscriber count with very little views, right? You'll have 50,000 subscribers and you'll get like 2,000 views, right? I want anyone following me, I hope it actually like benefits you and you're actually here to become, learn something, pick up something better in the hobby, just join the community and talk with other like-minded people, whatever it may be. So I want more of that and less of seeing if I can grow to the most subscribers. And I think that's more what giveaways are for. And that's why I give them on the pack breaks. People who are in the pack breaks are already there supporting the channel. They're already engaged. I want to give away to those people, right? And I know a lot of you are too. And maybe we'll do a live stream giveaway. Like it'll be impromptu. One of the future giveaways. I'll just say in the middle of a live stream, all right, anyone in this live stream, whoever can answer this question first, and maybe I'll do some of those. But as far as like making a video where people have to comment on and subscribe, I don't really want that kind of audience, if that makes sense. So maybe for you guys who actually show up to the lives, maybe we'll do a giveaway in the future here. How's that sound? That'll be good. That'll be good. We'll do something like that. Or maybe I can do something like where I don't even tell people there's a giveaway. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, the video I made on the 29th, anyone who watched that and commented there, anyone who commented on that video, I'm running a giveaway. And that way, it'll be people who actually watch and engage, and they didn't know there was a giveaway, so they didn't do it on purpose. That might work too. All right, so maybe there are some ways I can do some giveaways. Then I don't have to attract kind of the whatnot type audience, right? That's what whatnot is, guys. You got to just constantly run these stupid giveaways on stuff, so people come to your stream, they literally watch you just to try and pick up a free thing they never buy. I don't want that kind of audience, like someone who comes in for a giveaway and doesn't watch the content. I don't know. That's not for me. I don't sell on my own site. I run my pack breaks on my site. I don't sell. I sell through eBay and TCG Player. I could sell on my own site. I may. But yeah, I couldn't answer that question as of now, man. I'm sorry. How long will Sun and Moon Sword and Shield need to remain stagnant before? What are you talking about? Sun and Moon is not stagnant. You need to go look again. Sun and Moon has been making massive moves. It's not stagnant in the slightest. Yeah, I mean, Sun and Moon, XY, all these eras have stayed stagnant for periods of time, and then they've moved up. Like, Fates Collide. If you go look at Fates Collide XY, right here, that box was sitting around $300 to $350 for a while, like over a year, 2 years, a long time, 3 years, I don't know. It's now like a $550 to $600 box. Like, so that's what I talk about with this hobby. When people get too active, that's the problem, guys. You can't get too active, right? Trying to always buy and sell, buy and sell. Do you do that with your 401k? Did your house value go up in the last 5 years? Do you sell your house and like go rent because you want to realize the gain? Like, you need to stop getting, it's like right now the market's up. Have you sold every investment in your 401k and Roth IRA and it's all sitting in cash waiting for it's like, you can't get too active with this stuff or you'll miss out the big moves. And what I'm talking about is this hobby isn't linear. It doesn't just go up 10% a year, right? And so like something like Fates Collide, well, maybe you sit at $300 and $350 for 2 years and you're like, well, I'm not making any money. I'm going to get out. And then all of a sudden you get out in this last year, you know, megas came out, the mega rumors about Pokemon, what Zeta Y or whatever, Zeta A, whatever it is. Those rumors came out, it shot up to megas, and now XY boxes are going up, and now that box went to $600. And you're like, if I would have just held, I would have made 90% gains. And now think about this. If you did hold for 3 years, well, now 0 plus 90, well, now that equals out to 30% a year, right? And so it's like, it's so hard to play that game of when do I sell, when do I not sell? But look, if you make the decision to sell, stand by your decision, have a place that you think is better for the money, and don't look back, right? I did that with Team Up. I missed out. I screwed up. I shouldn't have sold Team Up at 700. I thought I should have. I bought the box at 100. Actually, it was like a more. I think I paid like 120s for the boxes. Because it was hard to get Team Up actually. But yeah, I think I paid like 120s, and it went to 700 in a couple of years, and I sold. And I'm like, well, I'm happy. This is great. I killed it. But realistically, I should have kept it there and not sold because, well, I would have tripled my money again. So just be careful with always thinking you got to be too active is what I would say. Start a Pokemon business? Depends on what you're trying to do. Like full-time? I mean, a lot. Part-time, like nothing. Like $100 you can start a Pokemon business, right? Buy out a $100 collection. Break it down. Sell it. Like, I don't know, buy out some cards, send them to PSA, grade them, sell them, make profit. Like it's such a broad question, man. I can't give a great answer on that. Depends on what you're trying to do exactly. Appreciate it, A-Town. Thank you, man. I think Boondock's a pretty big flipper. He says, do you want to make little money or lots of money if ladder flipping works? And then what I would, tell people on the flip side, do you want to work a little or work a lot? Do you want to not work or work a lot, right? I always have to give that counter because too much in life itself, right? Just not even this hobby, life. Everyone always looks at money. Put it this way. I've been in sales. The first thing everyone always asks, right, in a sales job is, well, how much can I make? What's the commission? What are the average guys making? What are the top guys making? I never ask that question, ever. What I ask, how many hours is everyone working? That'll tell you. Because guess what? I don't care if they're making 200, 300 grand a year. Are they working 80 hours a week? Are they working 7 days a week? No thanks. I'm good. And so remember, guys, there's more than money. Understand that, what you want to do. Do you want to flip? Do you want to invest? Do you want to work? Do you want to not? That's all it is. I always got to say that because, it's just no one ever talks about that side of things. It's always money, money, money. No one ever talks about time and effort and all that. It's like, I don't know why it's always a topic of conversation. Alex doesn't like money, confirmed. Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. Whoever said SC is OF 2.0 is a moron. I mean, I don't think so either, dude. I think that's kind of crazy take. What's your favorite card in your collection? And is there any way you are looking for? And if there are any, right here, man, right here. Right here, this baby. Favorite card. Shining Legends Mewtwo GX. Love that card. And if I'm looking for any cards, well, I'm always looking for the Silver Dialga. I love that silver card. I'd love to have another one day. The problem is, I'll probably never keep it. Like, if I ever grade another 10, I'm probably going to sell it again because it's just so much money. But maybe one day when I guess maybe like more established in life, I'll try to get one and keep it. I do love that Silver Dialga. That's a card I actually want that I don't have. I did have the Latias Latios, but to be honest with you, I don't really care about that card the way other people do, so I sold that. Another card that I really want that I don't have. Okay, so a vintage card. Vintage, guys! I'd love to have a PSA 10 Shining Gyarados. I love the Shining Gyarados. I'd love to have that card. I like that card more than any of the Gold Stars, any of that. I love that Shining Gyarados art card. I wish they would make that reprint that as a full art. That'd be sick. Full art textured. Oh, make it an alt art. That'd be amazing. Or SIR. So yeah, that's probably the one card I'd be looking for eventually is that Shining Gyarados. Maybe that Silver Dialga. I don't have a lot of cards I really collect, but those would be two of them. Best avenue to sell products? Depends on, this goes back to the whole work and effort thing. The reason I don't really use Facebook, Instagram, things like that, and me and Pokemon Plumber, we'll go back and forth about this because it's basically his only route that he uses is Instagram. I don't like those because I want, again, you know me, guys, I want ease of transaction. I like eBay and TCG Player because I'm able to just list the card, right? Scan the pictures, make a, just copy and paste a description. TCG Player is even easier, and I set it and forget it. And you guys probably know if you've reached out to me, I don't really answer eBay messages. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not working a deal with most people. I'm not sending you a million pictures. Like if you want the card, great. If not, someone else does. And that's the beauty about it is I get to just list it, let it sit, and someone pays me. I throw it in a box and shipping, and I never got to deal with it. Never got to talk to them. Any of that stuff. I don't like Instagram, Facebook. You have so many tire kickers messaging you. You're spending all this time messaging them back, answering these questions, trying to figure out how they're going to pay you. Well, PayPal or Venmo or friends and family, goods and services. Can I Zelle you? Can I crypto you? And then it falls apart and you got to message someone else. And it's just, I don't want to deal with that, right? I just want to list the card, have it sell, put it in the box, ship it, done. And so the fees on eBay are worth it to me for that peace of mind, for that ease, right? If you don't mind doing that, you can definitely realize more gains. Facebook groups, Discord group, buy, sell trades, Instagram. If you have a YouTube presence, you can do that, your own website. But then with your own website, you have to remember, you got to do your own marketing. You got to do something to bring people to your website. So you got to make content, you got to market, maybe pay for marketing. And so it just, again, I know these answers are not like real answers, but it just depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to do, and how much time you want to invest in it. One of my sons wants a Beware the Cabal shirt. Oh no, PokeKid. So unfortunately, the company I used to use, that printed the merch for me because it was all print to demand. They switched over to another company. I haven't got it set up yet, so the merch store is down. Give me a few. I'll announce when I do have it back up and running. Maybe I'll release a new shirt too. I'll let you guys know when I have it back up. Thanks for reminding me. I do have to get that taken care of. I'll let you know when I have it up and you're able to order again. Sorry about that. PCETVs, yeah, for sure. I like them better for specialty sets. But for strong regular sets, they can do well too. I mean, especially the promo card's good. Look at the Obsidian Flames Charmander. Look at that. Look at that PCETV. So my tier list, it's booster boxes, PCETVs right under them. For specialty sets, it's PCETBs probably even before like a UPC or something like that. So PCETBs are definitely up there if you can get them. I think on average though, in the long term, I think booster boxes will still be better on mainline sets because they're more liquid and they are more sought after. But I think the scarcity of the PCETBs are still going to perform very well even in mainline sets. 100% for specialty. Dude, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just don't know enough about the EU's market over there. I wish I did. All right, I'd answer the question if I knew. Paradox did have larger, harder pull rates. It's in between. So how it was is SV base, Paldea, Obsidian Flames were 1 out of 32 packs for an SIR. Paradox Rift, they upped it to 1 out of 48 packs. And then Temporal and Twilight, it's 1 out of 72 packs, I believe. So it's in the middle. It's still harder. It's not 1 out of every box like it used to be. So yeah, it's in the middle. It's still harder to pull. Don, appreciate the new PC, man. It's running great. Everything's going good with it. Much love to you for all of the help with everything with it, man. Can't complain. We're going to be on Streamlabs here shortly. Is Hidden Fates the best ETB in Sun and Moon era? Unfortunately, I don't know the ETB market. I haven't paid attention to it close enough to answer that question. But it's got to be up there. At the price point, I think it's up there. For the strength of the set, yeah. There was a Reddit about someone stealing Moonbryons and other Pokemon cards. They tried to sell a whole load of them. Oh, no, that wasn't Moonbryons. That was Fusion Strike. I believe that was Fusion Strike cards. I don't think that was Moonbryon. I know what you're talking about. I don't think that theft had to do with Moonbryons, though. Yeah, Boondock said it too. There it is. Yeah, exactly. Just had a nose surgery. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That's brutal. Hope you're doing well, getting some rest, and it's feeling better. Thanks for showing up to the live. Wow. That's rough. Yeah, we'll start our own clique. We'll show them. We'll start our own clique here, guys. The anti-cabal. All right, if you could only buy one right now, would you buy a booster box of Stellar or Surging? Oh, Surging. Surging all day. Stellar PCTB just sold out this morning, but Surging still months out. Surging. If you got to pick one, Surging Spark all day. No question. You don't think we still have time? Oh, you said one or the other. Like, if you can buy both, buy both. Yeah, you said one or the other, though. So I thought you meant like one or the other. Yeah, if you want to buy Stellar now and buy Surging in a couple months, sure. I don't think you need to FOMO right now and buy it. So yeah, for sure. Sorry about that. I don't know if they're a good investment. I was collecting them. I did sell them recently, just because I just kind of got bored of having them. No real reason. But I wanted to use the money for other stuff. But they can be, that they have gone up over time in different time periods. I'd say they're less predictable than like sealed product. But they've done pretty well, especially since I owned them. Perfect statement here. Kind of goes into what I said earlier. I think you can be more successful concentrating on only one or two verticals versus several. That is perfect advice for everyone in this hobby. In the beginning, try out everything, right? Find out what you like, what you enjoy, what you're good at, and focus all your attention on those few things. I think you'll be more successful that way than trying to do what everyone's doing. Or a little bit of everything. It doesn't change my mind about the UPC, Don. Here's my thought process on products like that. Price point can change everything. I didn't like the Charizard UPC either. When it came out of the gate and it was like 120, 130, 140, 150, I didn't like it, right? I said, I don't think this is worth it. Buy booster boxes. Then it got reprinted and dropped down in the 80s. Then I made a video saying, I like it. I'm bullish on it. And I got a lot of heat, a lot of criticism. Alex, you said you didn't like it. The price point changed, right? I mean, honestly, that TCG Classic Collection, I hated that. I came out in multiple videos saying, do not buy this. This product sucks. Way too expensive. Buy 4 booster boxes. if it continues to drop, if you can get that TCG Classic, that big black box for like 150, if it drops that low, then I might say, hey, this is a buy, right? And so the same with the UPCs, if those things come out and they get trashed and they drop to like 80s, probably a good pickup. But no, I'm not buying them at retail or anywhere near that price. So hasn't changed my idea yet, Don. Wait, we got another super chat. Pokey Gaga. Any advice for those of us? Hold on a second. Let me go back to the video. Those of us who have a sealed position for a long-term investment, 20 plus years, in regards to maximizing future profits against taxes. My advice is always set up an LLC. Set up an LLC, and that way you can start writing off business expenses to offset some of those gains. That way everything, you only pay taxes on your profits, right? So, if you paid $100 for a box and it goes to 200, and in that time period you also had, whatever other expenses you had, office expense and, just whatever goes with that. Maybe you can write off part of your house for office, part for storage. You got, driving to the post office and stuff with gas to drop them off, and talk to an accountant, things like that. But maybe you can get your expenses up to like, 150, per box or whatever it may be. And now, you can write off mileage in your car, whatever it may be. And now you're only paying taxes on that $50 profit, which it's a lot lower. So I would say start a business, talk to an accountant and understand the write-offs you can use, and try to rack up as many of those as possible to lower your taxable income. Sell all cash. I can't condone that, but that is a route that people take. I can say that. I just can't condone that on stream. Hey, peek that shoe. Hope you're well, Alex. Any thoughts on the recent alpha cards? The recent alpha cards that recently sold. Apparently they're not from Akabane and questionable. Who do you think is buying these? Peek that shoe. That's gonna be your field, man. I think you know me well enough by now not to ask me this question. I don't really get involved myself in all that like real scarce niche vintage, like, all those markets. Like I just don't care about those cards. And, I don't transact in that stuff. And so I pay very little attention. I know of it because I've heard others talk about it. So I know of it. I know zero about it though. And so I'm the worst person to ask. Like, way more than me about that. You're going to be way more versed in it. I'm not even going to make myself look like an idiot trying to talk about it. So sorry, man. I don't even know. I don't know anything about it. I know of it. I don't know about it. So sorry, dude. Y'all paying taxes? The tax conversation is so great. Another thing is, ask your accountant about tax basis versus accrual basis accounting. If you guys don't know, cash basis. Cash basis accounting, your inventory is treated as an expense. In accrual basis, your inventory is treated as inventory, and you have to kind of keep track of that. You can only write it off once it sells. But cash basis, as long as you're under a certain amount of sales per year, you're a smaller business. When you buy a box, it gets written off, right? Again, not tax advice. You need to, talk to a tax accountant. But I can just like look it up. Like, let me just get like a 1 second. All right, here you go. So, in cash basis accounting, inventory is recorded as an expense when it is purchased, and it becomes an asset when it is sold for cash. So, meaning, if you sold $100,000 this year, but you bought $90,000 in inventory, you only have $10,000 of profit. Then you can start working on all your write-offs, right? Work with your accountant, go through anything you can write off that was a business expense, right? You bought things for your office, shipping materials, you drove to the post office a million times. Maybe you drove in person to pick things up, you have mileage to write off there. You use certain part of your house for office, for storage. You have a phone that you use, computer, electricity, internet, all that stuff. You can write all that off usually. Again, not a tax advice, you got to talk to an accountant. But that can even reduce that profit even more. And then you pay taxes on that little bit, which isn't that bad. So that's my advice for taxes is pay your taxes, but legally find ways to reduce your tax bill. Started watching November 2022. Love to hear it, man. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, Crown Zenith. Man, those. I'm not gonna lie. All those prints they keep doing, they hurt. And now there's even rumor they're gonna release like they have like bundles coming. They have more bundles. I don't even know, man. Crown Zenith, I was super high on. Now it's just like if they just keep doing this stupid stuff and releasing millions of packs, I think it'll be fine long term. But man, it's gonna be like Hidden Fates. It's gonna be sitting around a certain price point for a while the supply works its way through the market. So, because here's the thing with specialty sets is the price per pack dictates the sealed ETBs and things like that a lot more than it does for main sets. So like, for example, a main set like an Evolve These Guys booster box, it was $700 when the sealed packs, single packs were still like 12. Where if you 12 times 36 is nowhere near 700. But with specialty sets, if the price per pack goes down, that greatly affects the ETBs and things like that. So, more supply, it's hurting. It's going to take some time. But 5 to 10 years, I think it'll be fine still. Oh, I'm getting to the point in the conversation where we were talking about giveaways. Oh my gosh, everyone's talking about giveaway stuff. How funny. Pokematt, so Eli was exhausted, I guess, from his vacations. So next week, we'll be back on schedule next week, Tuesday, at, what do we do? 2 p.m. Central Time on his channel. So next week, we'll be back in action. Hey, do you think a Japanese booster box is a good investment? Sure, why not? Oh, man. Alex, when I'm back in town, I'll hit you up regarding tag. Also, my first show at Burbank went great. Good to hear. Yeah, hit me up. I'd love to hear more about it. I'm open. I'm always open to it. Open to anything. Can you invest in free bacon cheeseburgers? I can do that. Your free giveaway is knowledge. You're giving away for free right now. There you go. I like it. I like that. Preferred website, I buy mostly through either Eli's distribution program, Pokemart USA, or I'll buy collections that people reach out to me to sell. So those are my two main things. How I buy products, that's different from most people. I get it. I know Safari Zone has really good products. I just did a sponsor, or no, I haven't done a sponsorship. I have a sponsorship video that's coming out tomorrow. Where it's someone, from the community who has their own website that has reasonable prices and they double box and all that. So, that website you can use, it's Johto Collectibles. And just, it's hard, maybe start out with independent websites and get like a couple things first, make sure they're trusted. But like after that, there's a lot of independent websites. There's Smoke and Mirrors has like good deals from time to time. There's, I could name a bunch of websites, but there's a lot of websites that they all have different deals from time to time. Even eBay and TCG Player people will blow stuff out from time to time. TikTok, like, Hills Wholesale Gaming. Hills Wholesale Gaming has been around since the beginning of time, basically. And you're going to look at the website. You're going to say, this looks like a website that was made back in 95. It looks like a scam. It does look like that. It's not a scam. It's been around forever. Bought from them plenty of times. They have good deals a lot of the time. So it just pays to shop around, unfortunately. There's no one site that's always going to have the best deals. The closest thing you're going to get to that's probably Safari Zone at release. The future, when boxes stagnate, how long will they have to remain steady before you reinvest? I reinvest a lot. I said this before. I reinvest a lot between like the $300 to $600 range. That's usually the range I look for. Then it's not always that. If I look at the set like Evolving Skies, I'll say, no, I'm going to hold this. It looks like, could a team up scenario could happen. But like, yeah, let's say, I don't know, pick a set. Let's say Silver Tempest gets to like $350 a box. I'll probably think about getting rid of some of those boxes, things like that. So it just depends on the set, really. I did sell my house after 5 years because of the gains. I love it, man. Well, hey, man, good for you. I'm sorry to use that as an example. I'm happy you made some gains. My question would be, where'd you go, though? Like, where were you able to go? Because aren't you just buying at the top of the market, too? How are you? I mean, you took the gains, but then where'd you put the gains in to buy a new house? Where are we at? We're at 237. Okay, I'm not too far back. Guys, we've been going for like over 2 hours. Let me kind of scroll through. I'm gonna scroll to the end. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to skip you. I'm gonna try to see if any catch my attention. I'm gonna take a couple more. I mean, which set are you buying more of, Surging Spark or Team Rocket? Probably Team Rocket, but I'm buying a lot of Surging Spark too. I just put an order in for 25 cases, and it could be more. I could buy more, but I started out at 25 cases for right now. I'm gonna kind of gauge how things go, and I might buy more. So what is that? 25 cases? That's I bought 150 boxes. Don built me a monster, man. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it says Nostalgianomics on the side of it, and it lights up with all kind of lights, so I think it's pretty. I couldn't tell you anything that's in it, though. Don could. Agent Crypto, I answered this question earlier, man. I don't know. Like, Celebrations has been kind of stagnant. I just don't know how many people are going to seek after that set in the future. It's got the Charizard. It's got like the reprints of like the Umbreon and things like that. The UPC, it's got the Metal Charizard, Metal Pikachu, which that will be chased because the PSA 10 so hard to get. But I mean, I could see the ETBs reaching like $100. I don't know how much more. I don't know. It's a hard one. It's really just a straight nostalgia play. Like, it's not, it's a reprint of nostalgia, because it is a specialty set. It's not Evolutions. It didn't get released in the time Evolutions did. Didn't go through the pandemic. It's hard to tell what's going to happen with Celebrations. I'm still holding some. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. You know what? I rarely talk about ETBs. I think Obsidian Flames are some good ETBs simply because of that promo card. That promo card seems to be on fire. So I don't think Vintage is ever going to have a quote unquote wave. That's my opinion. But I think that, I think the Rocket sets will probably see some uptick from them. But I don't think it's going to like stem down like it did before. Like, I don't think people are going to be picking up light play cards for all kind of, I think like the 9s and 10s of the popular cards will do well, but a lot of those are really expensive. And then the boxes are really expensive. So the problem is with Vintage is the price points alienate a ton of collectors immediately. And even though you can say, well, like SM Pratt used to make this point all the time, is you don't need to like buy the 10, right? You can get a ton of value just buying a PSA 7. It's still a near mint card, and you can own a PSA 7 of the best card in the entire set. The problem is nowadays we've been so conditioned for perfection that most everyone wants a 10. And if they don't want a 10, they at least get a 9. And it's really hard to convince people that just buy a 7. And it's a really hard thing to people just won't do it. They'll just be like, I'll just leave it. It's a cool card, but I don't want to buy a 7. I'll just get modern. And so I don't know. It seems hard. And I don't want to be a vintage hater, right? I'm trying to be, honest and give you a real take. I do think it will attract some people back to the Rocket sets, but I just don't see a massive wave, like a massive, like rising tide raises all ships type thing. I don't see it happening. I think there'll be 5-10% of the vintage market that does well. And I think the other, 90% of it probably maybe go stagnant, have times where it has, upticks, has very stable, maybe small gains over time. I just don't see it performing like modern boxes do. And that's why I just don't do it. Come after me legally. I don't give investment advice. I don't give investment advice, and I don't give investment advice on securities. But I just tell you my thoughts on what I would do. And if you want to do what I would do, go for it. But that's what I would do. Everything in my channel is what I would do, right? If you choose to do that for yourself, great. But I don't tell anyone you should go do this. People ask my thoughts on what I think about things. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I never tell people you should do this. You should buy this. I say, this looks like a good play. This has the highest possibility of going up. This seems like a no-brainer to me. That's to me, though, right? So that's kind of what I do. I don't ever give direct advice. Even in my Patreon, people I'll have, talks, and I do consultation calls. I'll tell people right away, I don't give direct investment advice. I'll help you with, business stuff. I'll help you with, explain like the investing side to you, or, anything you need, but I won't give direct investment advice. Those Greninja Kingdra boxes, they seem to be shorter printed. A ton of them got open to grade the cards. They could do well in the future. The only issue is they have Shrouded Fable packs inside. I mean, guys, Shrouded Fable, it is it's not the set you want to be invested in, but hey, if you got those boxes, it might not be a bad idea to hold on and see what happens. Shrouded Fable is not well taken by this community at all. I already feel like, okay, I don't know if we talked about it. I already feel like Stellar Crown pull rate is way too high. With a small set, it's making me think it's another Obsidian Flames. Why are people saying this Obsidian? Where did this start? What YouTuber, guys, tell me. What YouTuber said that this is comparable to, that's the second person that compared it to Obsidian Flames. No, I do not think it's anywhere near Obsidian Flames, but since you're the second person that said that, someone had to have made that distinction. I want to know who. I want to watch this video. Glorious. Do you remember when Hidden Fate stopped printing? I'm wondering when Crown Zenith booster packs will rise over 7. Yeah, so it was released in 19. I believe it had a late reprint in 21. It was like 2 years after around is when it got the reprint, which shocked the market. So I believe it was like 3 years ago, probably. Average Joe here. How can I prove purchase with no receipts when making a business account in the future? I don't know. Get written written proof from the person you bought it from that you bought it. If you have like a screenshot of like a conversation on an email, Discord, Instagram, you can screenshot that, and if that person agreed to sell you that item at that price and you agreed and said okay, like that I think that would probably work. I'm not sure. You'd have to look. I'm not 100% sure on how that works with the whole government and everything, but that may be enough evidence possibly. Or you can reach out to them and have them like say something like, hey, thanks for the Hidden Fates ETB at $170, and they say payment received or something. That might be enough evidence. Yeah, it's a hard question. Make sure this just have evidence, right? Take a picture at the time of something like that. Have evidence. What's the best way to get into investing? Literally new to the channel, just clicked on it. Brandon, what's up? How long do you have to hold? Do you do cards or ETBs? I mainly do booster boxes, booster box cases, and how long depends. I would say on average, you start seeing price appreciation on most of this stuff 2 to 5 years. Now we've seen quicker on that with Paldea Evolve, Twilight Masquerade, so it could be, depending on how the markets are. If you're in a bull market, it might be faster. A bear market might be slower. But I would say with anything I do, it's money that I don't need in the next year or 2 or 3. It's money I'm looking to invest anyway. It's like, am I going to put this in the stock market? Am I going to put this here or there? And so it's money that I wouldn't need for like day-to-day expenses or bills. So that's what I do. Sourcing forever stamps. Reach out to hey, come back to Pokemart USA stream on Tuesday next week at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Ask him that question. He'll give you a good answer. He has places he sources from really cheap. I don't do all that stuff. I don't really sell much on TCG Player, so I ship. I maybe like send, I don't know, 10 stamped envelopes a month maybe. So I don't really worry about it. Most of my stuff tracked with with tracking and everything, like a ground shipping. But he'll be able to give you a good idea on that because he ships hundreds of cards a day on TCG Player. Here's another good idea. If you throw 100% of your profits back in your business, you'll pay 0 taxes because it'll be, you'll break even. So you could always do that. Just throw everything back in the business. When are you going to do a deathmatch battle your haters in MMA fights? Dude, I would love to either do an MMA fight, a boxing match with anybody. Anyone in this community that wants to do that for fun, I'd be up for it. But that's the thing, though. It would not be because I hate the person or settle beef or whatever. I just do it for fun, entertainment, the entertainment value of it. It'd be a good time. Wrestling match, whatever you want to do. I'm down for it. I'm one of those weird people. I like that kind of stuff. It's actually fun for me. It's not. I don't fight because I'm angry at someone. It's just it's a sport for me. I know I'm a psycho. I get it. I'm a psychopath. Actually got a giant scratch on my arm from rolling. I think I'm pretty much to the bottom. If starting a business, not investing, which set do you think I should begin with? Shrouded Fable doesn't seem promising. No, it doesn't. Should I wait for Surging or should I start with Shrouded? Yeah, I wouldn't. I would not try to sell Shrouded Fable. It's death right now. That is death. I'm just gonna tell you from experience. Can you walk through your purchase through Eli's Wholesale? How many cases do you typically buy? Is shipping for cases expensive? Does wholesale price outweigh just buying locally in person? Cases cost $88. Here, I'll tell you exactly how much because there's some like distribution fees. So it's usually $5.41 a case. So it's usually like $90.16 a case. And then shipping, depending on how much you buy, it gets broken down. Usually it's somewhere around 91-ish, 91 and some change is what it usually costs me per box. And I bought 20 cases of the last set, about 25 of Surging. So somewhere around there is what I order. But for me, it's more about the ease of transaction. I talked about this before. It's not always about like shopping around and finding the absolute bottom dollar. Like I don't want to make 1,000 TikTok accounts and buy from 1,000, TikTok sellers and get all these coupons and have a bunch of random, loose boxes sent to me or, buy some here, buy some there. So yeah, maybe you could find it for $90, a little cheaper somewhere else, cheaper TikTok coupon. I like the idea that I know I'm getting all my products straight from distribution, 100% legitimate. It's all going to be in sealed cases. They're going to be shipped double boxed, and it's relatively the same price as everyone else is paying. And so that's why I use the program. It makes the most sense to me. Surging Spark for tag team? Ooh, that's some big shoes to fill. Phil, I don't know about that one. Sorry if it's a dumb question. No dumb questions, Mike. He and you report profits. If this bit based on honesty of what you said, you say you paid, how does that work? He and you report profits. Is this based on honesty or what you said you paid? You would have to have proof of what you paid. Yeah, I mean, if you got audited and couldn't prove what you paid or when you bought it, or I don't know. Yeah, I mean, ideally you want to have receipts or some kind of purchase order of what you paid for the item. Yeah, that's a gray area. I can't really answer that, Mike. I'm sorry, dude. Pokey grinding. I see the popcorn man. What's up? All right, guys, I'm gonna end it there. It's been almost 2.5 hours. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to everyone. I see a lot of people jumping, a lot of questions, a lot of people jumping in still. Sorry, if I didn't get to your questions, I'm sorry. I tried to get to everyone. Like I said, I made most of this video a whole Q&A because I know a lot of people like that. So if you didn't get your question answered today, I'll have another live next week. And, you can always reach out on Discord too. I usually try to get to those messages. But that's all I got, guys. Hope everyone continues to do well in the hobby. Don't let emotions get to you. All right. Everything's going to be okay. It's never as bad as it sounds. It's never as good as it sounds. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. And, you'll do good long term. Stay the course. That's what I'm ending this with. Stay the course. I'm out.